This is peak Overwatch.
And here it is, ladies and gentlemen, what you've all been waiting for.
And now it's go time.
Here we go.
Bloody hands, my eyes wide, I got one chance. No sleep till I'm enhanced. Fight hard to keep my stance. Knuckle up, time to buckle up. I got one shot and I won't stop. One goal for the joyride. I'm a champion, move aside.
What? Oh, okay. Are you kidding me?
Taking over the game.
What am I watching? They might just be doing it.
He's a god. He's a god.
Yeah.
Oh!
Full force, I'm unleashed, so don't speak. Grandmaster, don't sleep. Victory, it tastes so sweet. Knuckle up, time to buckle up. I got one shot and I won't stop. One goal for the joyride. I'm a champion, move aside. Let's go.
Alrighty, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another day of the Overwatch League, the last day here of APAC action. I am Achilles, joined as always by Avril, and boy, what a matchup here to start the day, and then what a future matchup potentially coming upon us here, Avril. Starting things off here for the APAC play-in, we are going to have the Philadelphia Fusion going up against the Hangzhou Spark. The winner of this matchup gets ready to go up against the Seoul Dynasty later on today. You don't get that much of a break. You have to be able to play back-to-back series if you want to go to the playoffs.
It's the final day of APAC here. It's the final broadcast until we send one team into the playoffs, and then for two others, it'll be the end of the line here in Achilles. Oh my goodness. Like you said, man, we got some good ones. We've got three of the remaining teams. Obviously, we've said goodbye to all the eliminated teams here in the Eastern Division side of things. New York, Guangzhou, Angeles Valiant, they're all gone now. So it's up to Hangzhou, Philadelphia, and Seoul Dynasty. It breaks my heart. It truly does. If only the Valiant were here today. But we do have, first of all, Spark taking on Fusion. The winner of that will play up against Seoul Dynasty, who are waiting in that match number 2. And then obviously the winner of that goes directly to playoffs, and that is going to be it.
Yeah, I mean, tight-knit competition here today for the side of the Dynasty. They're fortunate enough to be able to kind of sit back and watch what these teams are doing, learn what, whichever team is going to be winning this first series, learn what they're doing to try to, find victory and then try to play around that when they get to their set. They get to try and relax a little bit, but something tells me that there's not going to be too much relaxation going on inside the Dynasty household right now. I think that it's going to be very, very tense as they sit there and watch. I would expect that they're probably hoping that somehow the Hangzhou Spark comes out and wins this. Just kind of historically have been a bit of a weaker team. But at the same time, if the Hangzhou Spark win this, then they are on something today. And then you have to be very, very scared of them. So either way you slice it, it's going to be a tough opponent for the side of the Seoul Dynasty. But let's go ahead and get right into our starting rosters, see what is being brought to the table. First and foremost, we'll be taking a look at the Hangzhou Spark. And it's not going to be any surprises whatsoever. It's going to be the Architect Shy DPS lineup.
It certainly is, and I think Shy is back in action. He's activated now. You're wondering, where's Shy been? He's not disappeared, Avril. No, he hasn't, but his hero pool was kind of gutted in the last, tournament cycle there in the Countdown Cup. Most of his good stuff was banned. No Echo, no Ashe. I think Ashe particularly has been Shy's. That's his creme de la creme right there. That is his signature hero, and still to this date, he still holds some of the highest statistics specifically on this Ashe. We're talking about #1 final blows per 10. #1 scope critical kills, #1 in least amount of deaths as well. So this guy's a monster, and I think this, if there's any meta for the Spark to make a comeback, it's via Shy, via the Ashe.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. I mean, even without that, he was still, able to pop off with, the likes of his McCree and whatnot. So he was a little bit weakened, but still coming back in now should be feeling fully comfortable, being able to go back over to the Ashe. I mean, maybe the Spark have something else prepared for us. Maybe they're going to unveil something a bit different for this series. I mean, it's the end of the line. You have to pull out all stops to try to make it to the playoffs. So, who really knows? On the other side, though, we'll take a closer look at the starting lineup for the side of the Philadelphia Fusion and see what they've got. Because this has been a team that is very much willing to play around with their roster, with their starting lineup, and we're seeing a change here. It's going to be Carpe and Shockwave to kick off this series.
It is. Shockwave to date has only played one map this entire season. You know what that one map was?
He gets two.
Temple of Anubis versus the Hangzhou Spark. His opening frag of the entire season, you know who it was on? Shockwave played Widowmaker and he killed Shy in his opening frag of the Overwatch League season for 2021. And now he's back. You know what? Hangzhou Spark played against you, won a map against you. We're back for round 2. We're back for a little bit more. I expect a lot more Shockwave to be played today. Carpe obviously still in. He's there, pretty much he's their captain. He's the face of the team. He's been the guy on the Fusion for the longest time here. Shockwave's barely had an opportunity to kind of prove himself, and I would like to believe that in between Countdown Cup and them failing to make Hawaii, failing to make the tournament, and now in terms of the practice and experimentation of the roster, perhaps they've landed on Shockwave being, okay, well maybe this is the DPS play that we really need.
Well, they have made the decision. We'll see if it comes back to bite them in the rear or if Shockwave can absolutely make an impact here in this, at least this first map. Who knows? Like you said, you're expecting to see a lot more of him. I think that we might see a bit of flexibility here, and maybe we see EQO come back in after this, depending on what the map selection is going to be. But time will tell. We have to just kind of wait and see, because we will be taking a look at our map set here in just a moment and see where we are going to be kicking things off on. It's going to be Oasis on Control to begin. Loser will then pick every other map in this first to 3 series. We'll see who is going to be able to come out on top, starting things with a win on Control. Always a major boon, gives you that leg up. Fusion would love to have it.
Also notice, by the way, that obviously on the Hangzhou Spark side of things, it's Mika and Coldest again. MCD's been removed from the roster. IDK was his partner in crime in terms of the back line, in terms of playing the duo in the support line. And Hangzhou Spark, for I think the last 2 matches of road, even in the Countdown Cup, they've been opting to play their Chinese back line for the supports of Minka and Coldest. And so here we go now. Shy over towards Trace to start things out. We talked about the Ashe, and it's going to be Shockwave starting on that hero.
Yep, Shockwave on that. Shy on the Tracer. Architect with the Sombra. First volley, a little bit of a scouting mission. Now going to rotate around the back, look for a bit of a flank angle, try to get on top of Alarm in all likelihood, or just get a nice hack on a Mono, make him a bit of a sitting duck. But now it's just poking and prodding from either side. rotate around the side of the map here. Fusion trying to get on a decent little flank as Hoppa goes diving in, gets in on top of Guangzhou. This corridor out onto Bernard now going to be flipping over to Shy. They can drag his position just a little bit better for now. As Mono comes rolling in, but he gets hacked. The rockets from Bernard will take him down. She'll match now out on a funny Astro. Fusion not really in a position where they can safely pull out of here. Will just, likelihood get picked off. Need to just try to, jump in front of traffic realistically at this point, get a fast reset. It's 15% currently on the board with the side of the Spark as they win the first fight.
Into traffic or off the map there. Bernard still gets the kill credit, so that's going to be a lot of ult charge. I mean, Bernard actually already has the self-destruct, so tons being done in that last fight there. You see Manu getting caught out on towards the point. Spark were very uncommitted to actually taking a fight with the Fusion. They wanted to go for the actual objective first. Manu, I guess, tried to contest that one and ends up being that first casualty that has his entire snowball effect, giving Spark that first fight win. So no other real ultimates to speak of just yet. Nano is what I'm looking towards. Our coldest. Nano the Guangzhou should be the play.
Falling low, Shy getting top back up. Straight back into the fight for him. Pulse bomb at the ready, just waiting for a target. Self-destruct going to be greeting them, and Shockwave's going to get picked off. Not enough shield to try to hide behind. The pulse bomb's going to be good. Finds the stick onto Alarm, and he is still going to be 18% away from that Transcendence, so obviously cannot keep himself alive. Carpe going to get picked off here on the back end, and it's only Guangzhou falling on the side of the Hangzhou Spark, so a very nicely won fight. He'll be able to rejoin very quickly. With 65% on the board, the Fusion need to do something. They need to do it fast.
EMP's out there for Architect as well now, so that's going to be great timing. Nano was saved for the last fight. Arguably, it could have been used on Guangzhou. They could have had more kills, so you have this kind of piece really being drawn up when two players of the Fusion went down. Only Guangzhou went down for the Spark there. Early rally coming through as well. They know the EMP's coming.
Yep, let's pop that, get the armor. Moving out across the members of the side of the Fusion. Rally now going to be matched by Mika. Guangzhou falling low. Nano will come in to keep him alive, and that's going to be enough to push him up to that primal range. Now has that ready. Push into the corner. The EMP comes in. Alarm does get the Transcendence off. Two members going to be hacked. Anti-nade goes out on a Hotba, however. Does have the self-destruct to try to get back into the back, but 99% now taken away. Shockwave clearing the back flank, making sure that Shy is not there as that pulse bomb is about to be online. He now has it. Carpe, his own pulse, will find Coldest. They crash through Bernard. They find the kill. Pulse bomb stick will get rid of Funny Astro. Guangzhou falling. It seems that the Fusion should be able to win this out. As the flip starts to come through, they will be able to wrest control away from the side of the Hangzhou Spark, but the question is for how long? We'll have to wait and see now. They can take a very much needed sigh of relief.
Very late pulse bomb from Shy there as well. Not too sure what that was about. Maybe thought he could risk it with a miracle pulse, maybe get a double kill there. He did see Alarm and Funny Astro dropping, so perhaps the opportunity was there. But speaking of late ultimates, the EMP from Architect as well was quite late into play when, the fight had already started going towards Fusion's way. The Prime had been popped a little bit earlier then. They want to start with EMP, not end with it ideally for the Spark, and with Alarm breaking Colt, this already a 6v5.
Yeah, a nice little pickup, but it's going to be made a 5v5 very quickly after. Carpe just get eliminated. A little turn fire there from Mika. Mono playing up over the top. Telling he wants to go into this pile driver. Sees Architect use the hack. Now will drop in. Gets the knock up. Nearly has the minefield ready to go. Mika going to get picked off. Shockwave finding that kill. Continuously playing this high ground.
Very critically low here as well. I mean, that could be troublesome. If anybody goes down here, that gives agency for Spark to go in with the player advantage. They have ultimates now waiting for EMP. This time, Alarm is still just a few percentage points away from that Transcendence. Might be able to get it in time.
Really great collapse. They forced the recall. They managed to get in on top of him. So
full
really
reset.
good pick off. Yep,
yeah, that's going to force Spark all the way back.
Oh, Carpe actually goes in. He uses the pulse bomb. I thought he was going to hold on to this until the rally was available, but actually throws it out early. Now Mika does have it. It's 5 ultimates for the side of the Hangzhou Spark as they get ready to go on this attack.
They still need to defend against EMP. They've expended ultimates. I mean, we got Pulse gone. Minefield is gone right now. They would love these ultimates for this now fight, but I guess the plus side for Fusion is they're on the final fight. Now EMP should come through.
Oh, Alarm, he does not manage to get the Transcendence off. The rally is not going to be enough. It's far too late to try to keep them alive. 3 members instantly evaporated on the side of the Philly Fusion as they get ready to force out OT themselves, but the flip is coming in, and crucially, they need somebody who's going to be able to touch this point, but I don't know if they realistically have anybody that can, at least not with any longevity. Appa goes in, gets himself up over the top. He does have the self-destruct, and he is going to pop it. They dive in. They deny the remake by killing off the Baby Diva. The self-destruct not going to be able to find anything. Alarm still nearby. The Transcendence now going to have to be burned as Shockwave falls low. The bomb is going to be used out onto the point. Mono now hacked. Can't roll around. Can't cause any chaos. So will not fall. Fountain going to be used to try to keep their
This is
teammates
turning.
alive. Sleep Dart does connect. Bernard going to be picked off. Nice kill there from the side of Carpe. Now Gushway going to fall. The front line has been broken down. They'll respond in kind by finding Mono. Now Shockwave going to be eliminated. It's all on Carpe. He throws out the pulse bomb, but it's not going to find a stick. It's not going to find an elimination. Tech falling low, stays alive for a little bit longer. The dash around the side of Fusion, they get the flip, and no one can test the point because just a little bit too late. And Fusion, they actually managed to take this one away.
Dude, that flip came instantly and the wick burns down.
Oh
Within
my
half
God.
a second, there was no chance to react to that. You simply could not get off the point. Because when that flip comes on through, it's finished. And it started to turn very quickly. Saw the EMP, beautiful start coming through from Architect, catches Alarm, and they already had pressure placed onto Alarm beforehand. Gets melted down, no chance to use that Transcend, but then they come back with the Trance. And yeah, okay, there's going to trade like two players here as well. Take a look at the final moments here, and it's just,
Yeah.
Mikit's barely off. You know, just
That outer
might get
rim.
a chance to get on.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I will give him props for reacting fast enough to actually move in for it. Because if this was me, or if this was, you know, I would say even above your average player, they might not have realized that this was happening. So it was a good reaction, but unfortunately, it shouldn't have been relying on Architect to be the one playing forward. It needed to be Mika playing on that corner.
Well, I mean, Spark
Here we
just
go.
failed to get enough kills. They just failed to get enough kills in the last fight after EMP, and that's going to cost them now. As round number 1 goes the way of the Fusion. I'm sure Fusion are fantastically happy about that. They really spent a lot of ultimates just to be in position for a big bone and into a lot of kills.
Oh yeah, it is just going to be a ball death. Just enveloping here in front of the side of the Fusion. Instantly Shockwave and Alarm go down. Hanfa barely holding on to his mech. And now with no healers alive, just needs to pull all the way back up and spawn. I mean, he can offer up a significant amount of ult charge here for his supports once they respawn. The Alarm just steadily ticking away as they try to top him back up. But the first fight, and yet again the first lockdown to the point, will go the way of the Spark.
So we get neutral so far from the Spark. Now Shockwave goes over to McCree as well, so a bit of a change up here, going for a little bit more defensive pressure when Gushway actually dives on in. Again, look at Cold. This is the person that's going to make the biggest difference in that next fight. Not a lot of ult charge for this Ana, despite the big baronet. Just, I guess, didn't have a lot of damage coming on through, and Spark weren't taking much damage after getting the kills. Trey in early, Cold is still building, nearly there.
Funny Astro just going to get sent off the side of the map. Bernard getting into a nice position, just sends him sailing into the deep. Still going to have to wait. Reset yet again here on the side of the Fusion. 40% bought already for the side of the Spark.
And it's hard for Fusion to make a contest here because it's got to be Carpe moving in first, or I suppose Mano makes a play. As soon as Mano and Carpe want to make a play, want to dive in, and that's going to be Bino and Alarm as well. There's that Nano now, just go into a small room.
Yep, an Alarm will fall. Just quick little hop over the sides. Looking for Funny Astro, but Gushway's actually overstayed his welcome. Shockwave burns him down, so a 1-for-1 exchange. Tank for support. Pulse Bomb not going to find a stick, not going to find an elimination, and Shy in a rough spot. Oh, barely. Cannot make it over to that mini pack to get top back up. Carpe pursues forward. Hounds him down, gets that final melee, hit to finish him off. Rally for Rally now going to be rolling. Funny Astro using his in response. That eye goes out, looking to just zone them off the point. They'll just wait this out. Final shot goes in, but the Matrix eats that up. Fusion now are going to be on the board, and it's before the Spark can hit 99%. A nice kill. The self-destruct actually going to be committed. So it seems like the Hangzhou Spark, they want to press the issue. They want to go straight back into this fight because the EMP is ready.
Yep, and EMP needs to catch a lot here as well. Alarm has another Transcendence, and obviously, okay, Alarm's done a lot of damage here. Architect's on the hunt. Ideally would love to catch Alarm. So they have the scouting done. Fusion, they're moving in.
Oh, the shield bash comes in, but it's a little bit too early. Transcendent's still going to be off, though. Alarm was around the corner. Looks to just keep everybody topped up. Shockwave taking a considerable amount of damage. It's like the same exact spot, actually. Self-destruct going to be used by Hanfa this time. Gets back into the mech. Bernard going to manage to find Alarm. As Funny Astro was taken down moments before. No supports, no McCree, and now no Tracer. Flip is inevitable here for the side of the Spark. Only 45% or so. Bought right now for the side of the Fusion.
It's kind of weird fights coming through from both teams. I mean, I understand what Fusion are trying to do there. Okay, they're taking the tempo away from the Spark. They're robbing the Spark of the tempo because they probably know that the EMP is on its way, so they're going to force a fight against the Spark in territory close to the Spark spawn point. They're not ready for that one. Arctic gets bashed again. You said too early. I agree. The EMP comes on through. Not the best, but Shy and Co still managed to get the kills anyway. The damage is done. Final fight territory now with Mano hacked out.
No supports to speak of other than this minefield for the side of the Fusion, but Shy is just going
once
to get
that-
domed. That is a major pickup there for the side of the Fusion. Alarm. Is that going to be enough, though, to get them back in? They just need to get control. And then they still need to hold this all the way up to 100 if they want to close out the map. Spark very hungry to try to win this out right now, but they lose that front line. Carpe breaks down both of them. Alarm finds another pick on the back end. Fusion, they get a second lease on life.
Absolutely. And now this is going very much their way. They have a lot more offense coming online as well. Funny Astro looking over towards the rally. Mika around the same percentage mark as well. And just to clear up what I said earlier as well, when I say Funny Astro bashing too early in terms of being able to stop the EMP, but obviously if you're a Brig, as soon as you see the Sombra, you have to bash straight away. So back over towards this now as Architect goes up against, has the next EMP nearly available. That would be Funny Astro's job once more as Alarm is also steadily getting this Transcendence ready. So there's a lot of ultimates on line for Fusion. This is going to be a great last fight here, and it will be double 99 for both sides.
So Carpe hacked instantly. Architect finds that kill. Nearly has the EMP ready to go. Rally armor rolling. Getting dished out here from both of these Brigs. Nano Boost going to be invested. Guchue goes in deep. Sleep Dart connected. Shield Bash will kill. Mono is eliminated. Now Funny Astro out of the fight. The Transcendence and Desperation used by Alarm. Yeah, the EMP does not connect. Alarm just trying steadily to keep everybody else topped up. Cannot keep Shockwave in the fight. Carpe's Pulse will find Coldest. Hot, but now going to be hacked. It's Funny Astro swaps back over onto his namesake Lucio just to try to rejoin the fight a little bit faster. Alarm barely stays alive for the moment. Guchue now going to get picked off. Fusion still 15% shy, so even if they flip this back into their favor, they still have to win out yet another fight. Prefer that rather than just go into a third and final round. Alarm looking for yet another target. Would love to take out Shy again. Just narrowly missing, but Fusion, they will go ahead, get this flip back into their favor. But can they win out the round? No ults for either side other than this minefield from Mono.
And it might be enough as well. This minefield can absolutely be deadly. Carpe will get a pulse bomb. Crucial kill Shockwave. And that's a hack for the Hopper as well.
Dangerously low. The minefield now going to come out. We're in the double overtime. Ult's on the way. Architect 30% away from the EMP. Can absolutely build that up in the fight. The flip it for them in the meantime is nearly coming through. Hoppa's going to be D-Max. Funny Astro is going to be eliminated. The pulse bomb was eaten. Carpe is gone. 3 members now down. Transcendence is up from Alarm, but the hell, oh, the Sleep Dart comes in. Coldest snipes him down, follows up for a second final blow as Mono will go down and Shockwave gets eliminated on the back end. That Transcendence will never get used, unfortunately, for the side of the Fusion, and we are going to a third and final round of Oasis to decide who is winning this first map.
I mean, this has been dynamite so far. Both teams are playing at the absolute maximum. What a play from Coldest towards the end. There are a lot of questions in the lineup when, okay, MCD's departed from the roster, he's gone. Obviously, he's been playing for most of the season. And every time that we've looked at Spark, and I think most people agree, when you're looking at the Spark in terms of individual player value, MCD brought a lot of value to the team, was a great player individually, mechanically speaking. So with him gone, is Coldest going to be able to step up? I think in the last 2 games, the Countdown Cup and Spark really kind of suffering there. It didn't look like it, but here, right now, in this break the Spark have had, it's looking great. Coldest had some incredibly clutch plays. That one sleep onto Alarm, ruining the Transcendence, removes any hope for Fusion to come back into that fight. And maybe the hope for Fusion was pretty low in the first place, but let's see how this Brawl mirror goes now, because Spark have not played a lot of Brawl this year.
Yep, Ryan Sigma. I mean, just the maze and Sims abound. Let's see what happens. It's going to be a wholesale drop down into the pit, yeah. Sending them sailing. Everybody going to be disengaging there on the side of the Fusion, whether they like it or not. Wall comes up. Carpe cannot escape. Hoppa rejoins the fight. Accretions, that's oddly symmetrical. Both Sigmas finding accretion kills onto the enemy Symmetris. But there you go. Funny Astro just trying to stay alive, riding the walls as best as he can, but will get cut down in the end. The first fight, again, is going to go the way of the Spark. Fusion, do they stick through with this? I think they kind of have to.
Funny Astro's back now, so they need their full lineup. Alarm and Funny Astro both died, and notably Alarm still has an ultimate just barely before Coldest. I believe you have to credit Mika for that boop as well. 3 players went into the hole. 2 to 3 players. I couldn't see exactly how many, but a lot. It's a good wall and a good sniper from Architect.
Yeah, Carpe just instantly dead. Now Alarm gone, so that wall is not going to be able to be utilized by anybody. Mono is trying to escape. The shield's so low, they push it in on top of him. And Shy is just filling the kill feed as he often does. As Hotba now in a very precarious spot. I mean, that is not going to do you anything. The kinetic grasp does not help against the Symmetra, but fortunately, he is able to disengage.
Yeah, I mean, the help with Carpe's Ice Wall there, then his own shield, and eventually get out alive. And this has been Fusion's problem so far in Oasis. As you mentioned, it's been 3 out of 3 neutrals, and they are at a heavy deficit. I mean, I'm not foreseeing a big cap to come on through just yet, especially when Arctic has this big advantage over towards the Blizzard. Hopper would have to be a god to eat this. Eyes on him for sure, and Mano as well with the shadow that Guchue does not have.
Poking and prodding, but time is not on the side right now for the Fusion. They need to commit, and they need to do it soon. Just trying to get a read on where everybody is at. On barrier comes in, fluxes go out. Mono drops the hammer, but he is going to be the one spending time on the floor. Funny Astro picked off before he could use the sound barrier, and that is just going to be a team kill. 77% on the board right now. They need to rush back to this point, see if they change anything in the composition. Try to get themselves there a little bit faster, a little bit safer. It seems like they're just going to be sticking through with it, but now they need to win out this fight.
TPM probably. Funny Astro stunned. I think he got hit by the long-range aggression. Again, that just slows down Lucy a little bit. They're probably going to have to sound barrier in, and that is the key thing here because they didn't have the sound barrier last fight. Funny Astro died. Mika used it. That's part of the reason they won, so here we go straight away.
TP around the side. Yep, they get themselves in onto the point. Sound barrier escorting them forward. Drop down. Gushway stays alive, gets himself into the pit. Bernard, however, not going to be allowed to do the same. Will fall. Flip should be coming in now for the side of the Fusion, unless there could be a miracle turnaround. Gushway's going to be charging his way back over towards this fight.
Low members,
trying to duck and dive around. Gushway is here. He does have the Shatter available. Starting to kite back. Flip now is going to be allowed to happen. Fusion will regain control, or gain control rather, for the first time in this round as Alarm kills 2 on the back end.
Bend but not break there for the Philadelphia Fusion. I mean, plenty of members. I think their entire team on 50% HP or even lower there, but Alarm just keeping them up. Getting the last 2 kills there as well. And despite most of Fusion kind of, got locked out by Architect's Vault, they still managed to get over, find a fight. Huge move, I'm sure, from Funny Astro, getting Gushway into the hole as well, making sure that wasn't going to be both a Rhine or a Shatter. That could have been a turner. Gushway still does have that Shatter advantage. And it's Architect's turn again to go for this Blizzard.
Well, wall's coming up, they're looking to isolate. Auto pulls over to the side, beams going through, will find Gushway. Shockwave presses forward, finishes him off, follows in for Mika. Photon Barrier still committed to the fight, as is the Blizzard. They're looking to turn this one around. Shadow's going to be dropped in, manages to knock both DPS down to the floor. Mono now going to be frozen, but he is safe. He steps back up. Hotpa's right there alongside him. Kills off Shy, kills off Architect, and I don't know what the Spark were thinking.
No, that does not look like a good play to me. That seems like Spark were a little bit confused on whether they should stay or leave, but they were already committed in terms of positioning. They looked like they didn't want to back count, but playing without Gushway, playing without your main tech, without your Rhine here, it's just not going to be effective. We haven't seen the Shatter yet from Gushway. It needs to happen, but now without the help of either the Blizzard or the Photon Barrier, and yeah, I mean, they're lacking it a lot now. There will be a flux coming in the next fight. This time Funny Astro has to have the sound barrier available, ready to go, and to use it.
Alarm now. Window online to try to match Coldest. One going to be used up on the high ground. Carpe, pushed up into the air. Sound barrier comes in, Flux is out. Bernard dropping a few to the ground. Mono going to be falling low. Shadow's going to be used, but the pin cannot follow up. They're looking to get in on top of Alarm to keep himself alive a little bit longer with that immortality field, but they finish it off. And instantly there's 3 kills here for the side of the Spark. They only lose out on Coldest. Hotpo with a sliver of HP is trying to kite back. Funny Astro jumping over to his side to try to keep him in this fight, but Mika pursues just a little bit deeper. Gets that elimination. The flip has come in. We're into overtime now. Carpe, he has exhausted all of his utility to try to keep this going. Swap over onto the Wrecking Ball now for Mono to try to keep things going here. Trying to buy some time on the point. Shockwave, though, goes in with the uppercut, does not connect, does not get that shielding, and he will fall.
Listen, we'll end this now.
Yep, Carpe now going to be eliminated. Architect gets that Blizzard down on the initial choke, looks for the freeze here onto the Wrecking Ball. The pin not going to connect. He tries to drop down into the pit to get that Mega back. He cannot make it happen. The Photon Barrier comes out in celebration, and the Hangzhou Spark will be able to take the first map. I mean, some wild swings on this first map here, Avril, so already tells us this is going to be an absolute banger of a series. But the Hangzhou Spark are the ones walking away 2-1 on Oasis at the end.
It did feel like the Hangzhou Spark, especially in the early parts of all 3 of the sub-maps, had that initial lead right. They won all the neutrals. They had a lot of percentage points going their way. Yeah, there were some wonky fights in the middle. There was some stuff that didn't go quite well for the Spark. Some weird decisions. We looked at that 4v6 they tried to make happen with both Blizzard and Photon Barrier. Wasn't great. Some mistakes the Fusion side as well. Absolutely, definitely in their neutrals. And then even later on when they couldn't quite get some fights in their favor and just good individual plays, I think that we've seen actually from quite a few of the members, especially the supports to start things out.
Well, that brawl style definitely not suiting the side of the Fusion. We'll see if they change it up. We'll see if this is going to be, the same roster for either of these teams when we come back from the break and get ready to go into map number 2. We'll also see what Fusion's map selection is. So stay tuned, guys. Plenty more action coming your way. Like I said, if this first map is any indication, then we are in for an absolute roller coaster. Everything is on the line for these squads. They do not want their season to end here today. We'll see who can move forward, who can get that next map win when we come back.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by TeamSpeak, the official voice supplier of the Overwatch League. Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
Comes in to keep creative protected. Bionate, however, comes out. Carpet's got the pulse bomb to find both supports stacked in on top of each other.
It's got Shine, starts things up. Ramaton, bomb and bang! Architect is 2!
P1. IDK down. They're going to keep doing it. Marvel just swinging away, gets 3, and this is going to be a point day taken.
QO coming out. He's charging. He's looking. He's slicing. He's slicing. Takes down another 3.
EQO to you. This keeps everybody safe. They're shoved off the point for now. Jester crashes through both supports. Absolutely flattens him.
Shy, though, finds alarm. The Widow of Shy. Unreal.
Alrighty, we are back, and we're just one map into this series here. Our first one of the day. And already, things are explosive. They are wild. The Hangzhou Spark, though, they were able to control that chaos for just a little bit longer than the Fusion. They were able to take away the win on Oasis. Now it's going to be map pick for the side of the Philadelphia Fusion as we get ready to go into Assault.
Absolutely, and I think the surprising thing for me is the fact that Spark won the Brawl matchup. That is not something that Spark normally play.
Yep.
Spark really, to me, have always been kind of more of a dive favorite team, as are most teams in the East Division in APAC, right? Especially playing around Shy. So to see them come through on a Brawl and for that to be the winning matchup is so strange to me. And now I'm a little bit concerned for Fusion, and they are going to be making a substitution as well. EQO comes in for Shockwave. What does this mean as we go into, I believe, Volsky will be the next map? Maybe a bit of a spoiler. The little thing of the top.
Oh, it's about to be on screen.
Yeah, I mean, you got spoiled for like half a second there. Don't worry about it. As, what is the strat here? Is it more EQ or Sombra? I know there were some troubles in their last matchup for Philadelphia Fusion, got up against Seoul Dynasty for the actual qualify into the Countdown Cup in the knockouts, right? And EQ Sombra wasn't that great. I mean, to be fair, Shy Sombra hasn't been great either, but Shy isn't playing Sombra right now. Architect has been picking that one up. So as we move over to Volsky, yeah, it is looking like EQ starting on the Sombra.
Well, that he is. Carpe showing us the Torbjorn. I mean, it's possible, I suppose, but yeah, not going to happen. We'll see him just swap over. Moving it to the Tracer. So you get the nice little top down. See the setup here. Split across from the side of the Hangzhou Spark. Mono rolls through. Gets some vision as far as what they're utilizing. Translocator thrown down. They heard that one. They don't go in to try to destroy it, though.
If you remember the last time we saw Volsky as well with Fusion, was Hotba playing a lot of Zarya. Back when it was the Hotba carry meta in Countdown Cup, and now the D.Va is going to be the players. They're going back over towards more of an open meta type of dive. It's actually Guangzhou in a weird situation right now. He's maybe just cutting off the rotation from Philadelphia Fusion, as the rotation will be difficult here. They actually need to make a dive happen if possible.
All right, well, Shy going to find the opening kill. Alarm going to get his head taken off. Now just goes in onto the flank, puts a couple shots in. We'll finish off EQO, so first volley going to be staved off quite nicely. They don't give up anything here on the point. Mono is going all the way over towards the Spark spawn, and yeah, I mean, they could just leave him to his own devices, wait till he comes back in, farm some more ults off of him, and just continue this cycle of him moving over towards the Spark spawn.
I mean, I've seen some funny stuff where a Wrecking Ball will try and reset in the defender spawn right in B, and then another Wrecking Ball chases him. Obviously, Guangzhou is playing a Winston here, so it's not going to be the same. And now he is behind them. He's not been spotted. I mean, this is the problem. You have to mark Mana, otherwise he's going to set up an actual dive.
Hasn't really managed that one yet. They just put a little bit of pressure over onto the point. Force them to change position. Recall going to be used. Carpe needs to try to get the heck out of there. Pulse Bomb going to be used. Now Architect matching, but neither explosion finding any kills. Ooh, good little dance around there by EQO. Manages to avoid that flashbang. And yeah, Bernard going to be taken out. Huge pickoff. He's just 9% away from that grab. Now has that energy reset, and with these kills coming in, it seems like that should just be the lockdown coming through. On point A, Cold is going to fall. Guangzhou just left alone. will die. I mean, a good amount of ultimates stacked up here for the side of the Hangzhou Spark to try to win out on defense and prevent a snowball. But Fusion as well, not too far off from being able to get this double cap potentially.
I mean, look at the EMP about to become online as well. Minkin needs this rally as soon as possible. I'm having some problems with Spark's decision-making when these taking these dives. I saw a little bit on this Oasis as well, but they're pulling the trigger a little bit too early here. You see the nano play coming through. Guangzhou tries to dive in, and the Fusion just back out. Guangzhou can't go any further than that. He's caught now. He has to disengage. Your entire nano's been wasted, so Fusion are okay with that. All they spend is a rally. They've got plenty to work with now. Alarm has transfer Bernard's. Got it on Surge as well. So we'll see how this unfolds.
Okay, grab's going to be used. Looking for eyes on it. It's the Transcendence Force here for Alarm. EQO dead. EMP. Did he get killed out of it? I'm not even too sure. I didn't see it really strike anybody.
Straight away.
But yeah, doesn't find anything. Guangzhou with the Primal Rage will get rid of both supports. And that is going to be a fairly nicely won fight here for the side of the Hangzhou Spark. Getting rid of that Transcendence and the EMP in one fell swoop and giving up nothing on the point is an absolute win in their book.
I mean, they don't even need the rally. That's the biggest thing, right? I mean, the EMP came on through. Rally didn't even need to be popped. I'm not exactly sure who EQ got in the EMP, but he did die straight away. I don't think he got cancelled, but I wasn't exactly sure who he got. In either case, didn't end up being enough there. Failed hack over towards Architect, and now we're also seeing Guangzhou finding a lot more value in the Primals. I thought that was something that was missing on Oasis. These Guangzhou Primal Blades that we're known for, that he's known for, weren't really there in the last map, and now it's back.
Shy just looking to keep EQ honest. Zones them off that right side flank. Architect dropping down, gets into their back line for just a moment. Oh, the nano boost going to be used as they look for that kill with the pulse bomb. Drops down, flashbang, goes into mono, takes him to about half HP, forces him to roll over. Pick up that mega pack. Clears out the mines for now. This is okay. I mean, that was a fun engagement, but the rest of the Fusion just pulled away. Sleep Dart greets mono as he hits the high ground. It's woken up rather quickly though, and is able to roll out to safety for now. Self-destruct available. The Astro stunned up. Flashbang comes in. Architect finds the kill. Gets him out of the fight. Hopping out. Uses the self-destruct. Tries to buy some space for himself to get back into this mech safely. He'll be able to do so. Car is just high energy building up for this next. Oh! He almost gets a kill on the Carpe. Carpe actually manages to get on top of that mega pack. Gets that elimination. Now the front line's going to be broken down for Nar. Again, going to be dying moments before he has a grab online. The first tick now comes in for the side of the Fusion as Architect is going to fall as well. Cold is going to be picked up here on the back end. That might just be the cap coming in now. Jai dives in onto the point, but he just cannot last long enough, nor can Guangzhou. And that should just be the cap. 2 minutes and 9 seconds. As they don't even need that next EMB. EQ will never be able to build it up. They'll celebrate with a rally as the cap comes in. Fusion, they complete Volskaya.
Speaking of ultimates that didn't get played there as well, grab it on Surge, on Burner. He dies on, what, 94%, respawns. There's not really a fight anymore. And it's just gonna be wasted in spawn pretty much there. Another strange fight from, I think, both teams where you lose Funny Astro. It's a 5v5. And Philadelphia Fusion for a while, and I was about to step in and say, like, they gotta go. They're wasting a lot of time here. They're the team that can't afford to kind of dilly-dally, because while the respawns come back in, guess what? Spark get their respawns first. We're playing Assault here. We're playing 2CP here. We're playing the last 2CP you may ever see as we head into Overwatch 2 for next year. As Hangzhou Spark, they have a respawn advantage. They gotta get their 6 back. And for the Philadelphia Fusion, my biggest question mark was, how do you actually find these engages? Because outside of EMP, there isn't clear like win conditions, at least as far as ultimates go. So you have to make mechanical plays. You have to have Alarm finding these picks off with the right click. Mato diving in, Carpe maybe with the pulse bomb, making a play there, which by the way, he put the pulse bomb in there on towards Shy, who then got nano by Coldest and saved by the damage reduction, and that was a cool play from Spark to them. But Fusion, they eventually pulled the trigger, slightly later than I would have preferred, but Funny Astro notably comes back and gets a rally, and everyone in Fusion survived. Like, no one on their team died, as both teams were in a bit of a stalemate.
I feel like I'm losing my mind at time to time because some of these fights, like you say, have been so weird, and I'm like, am I processing everything correctly, or like, is this just what the reality is? And it's like, no, like, this is just what's happening.
It's been multiple times that both teams kind of just shake hands and, you know, give the respect over and say, like, we're down players, you're down players, we're not going to push into you, you're not going to push into us, and we're both going to have this Mexican standoff and just stare at each other for a little bit.
Would you all like to just pull some shenaniganry real quick?
Yeah,
for sure.
Parlay.
All right. Guangzhou, oh, dives into onto the high ground, finds Alarm in the hallway. Great pick off there for the side of the Spark. Let's see if the Fusion can try to stave them off. Need to get some kills pretty quickly if they want to dissuade them from making their way onto the point. And Bernard just trying to squeeze that corner, just trying to get line of sight there onto Hot, but just can't quite make it happen. Would have been a really nice DMAC. It's just buying time for Alarm to float his way back over to the point. You can see he's still quite far off, though.
Oh, Mano slipped on the side as well.
Yeah,
that's
okay. Well, that might just be point A.
I mean, you can't get. How do you get past Shy, who's already on a dead? How do you get past Burner, who now, at this point in time, is still probably sitting on quite a bit of energy? At best, you can force a nano out. If you can force ultimate, so that's good. But right now, they're kind of just feeding in.
The pulse bomb is used as well by Carpe. Doesn't manage to find anything. Shy, that final kill. Fast respawns, going to be there for the side of the Fusion, so they can get set up fairly quickly, but they've got no ultimates to speak of. EQO, oh no. Okay, well that's going to be, he's luckily, I think, within the window, so he does get the fast respawn, so he's straight back into the fight, but he's still no closer to this EMP, 15% away, and he needs this thing yesterday.
Nano's coming in. Look at this. Spark wastes no time. They're straight away in because they know Alarm doesn't quite have a Transcendence, and Funny Asher only just gets a rally.
Does have it online, but he hasn't popped it yet. Now it's going to start rolling this one through. Sleep darts out of the mono, though. He's at half HP. Oh, the Deadeye from Shy will finish him off. Carpe out of the fight. A first tick already going to get picked up. Pulse bomb from Architect, thankfully, for the side of the Fusion, is not going to be able to find anything. EQO does have the EMP ready to go, but he's going to have to pop it pretty damn soon. Grab comes in. That's going to be locking Alarm in place. The Transcendence will keep him alive for now. Bernard going to be taken down as the EMP gets rid of that shielding. The Fusion now have to play the point the whole way through. Self-destruct going to be sent over towards the spawn. It doesn't manage to find anything over at main. They'll get back into that mech safely, though. Minefield now going to be thrown down onto the point. Second tick is picked up. They made it up to 89%, but maybe they actually can stave them off here. Which way? Coldest now Shy going to be all falling. Seems like the Fusion will finally find some level of stability, but starting at 2 ticks with 4+ minutes, this is very doable for the side of the Spark.
Especially when Spark, I mean, you got to look at that last fight and you say Spark had so many opening frags, put Fusion up against the ropes there as well. Fusion just needed to survive, most importantly survive against the Grav. The interesting thing about the Grav interaction with this lineup is that there isn't a lot of easy targets to Grav. You are never going to see Fusion clumped up together to get something like a 3-man Grav. Mano trying to get a little tricky here, but he should respawn in time.
This is fine. Carpe gets both supports. He will get picked off. But they still have to wait for these respawns, so obviously they'll be in position here for the Fusion, so not too bad. I don't mind that excursion.
What I was trying to get at is, if you're basically relying on Bernard to win the grab, it's going to be rough. You see, he solo grabs Alarm with the trances anyway, and that just ends up being a bit of a laugh as EQ EMP strips his shields, and that's going to be Bernard down. As soon as Bernard died, I'm pretty sure the fight was over. Don't mind the little exchange and like 2 players dying either side, and what we just saw there, that'll be time exchange for ultimate. So Carpe drops in a pulse bomb, and Spark lose time for it. So that's going to be the value proposition being traded across. 3 minutes left, there's still plenty to go, but can you match 209? Would require them to camp right now.
Nano's out into Guangzhou. He goes diving into the backs. Not finding too many targets, and not even really building up towards that Primal Rage at all in that fight. EMP comes out, and that's going to be pretty damn massive here for the side of EQO. Finds both the tanks, but the rally is rolling. They're not able to find any kills in the back end of it. So EMP now just going to be an effective reset here as the hacks wear off. Now straight back in to the fight we go. Deadeye going to be popped. Shy for a kill, looking to zone back. We're at the main entrance, though. We'll start advancing forward with the rest of his squad. He's trying to hound down Carpe. Cannot find that kill. Pulse bomb goes out from Architect. Will not manage to find any eliminations. Hoppa falling low, but Alarm's still waiting there. Finger on the trigger, just waiting to pop this Transcendence, and he still holds on to it, even though Mono gets taken down to a sliver of HP. Oh, right now, the nerves from Alarm. Non-existent. Sleep Dart connects on the Carpe, though, in the back line, and Shy is instantly there to punish. Huge pickup, but can they get themselves onto the point now? It's going to be a superior time bank no matter what for the side of the Fusion at this rate, but now they need to focus on trying to finish the map. Shy going to get picked off. Alarm finds that opening kill, looks for a bit more, throws out the Discord, presses right up into Bernard's face, and it's Bernard in his dying breath will throw down the grab, but they're only able to find EQO, and that's a completely disconnected fight. Guangzhou uses the Primal Rage. He is going to get farmed. He's trying to exit, but I don't think he's going to make it out of here. Mono thinking about crashing forward to try to roll him over. Will not manage to make it happen, but the Fusion actually win the fight. They hold on to this point.
Yeah, that fight was done. I mean, Burnout used the grab when the fight was already finished there. Dies as he pulls it through. I mean, the only thing that went positive for the Spark there was the fact that they finally got Alarm's Transcendence. Is this like the most disciplined and patient Zen player in the world? Like you said, Mano and Hopper going down to very low HP and Alarm saving it for a rainy day. Carpe might be dead, but he'll respawn in time. No issues here. Fusion is still in a great spot. I mean, the time is now scuffed for Spark entirely. They might have to go for an OT push. This might be a draw scenario for the Spark, and that's even if they can cap.
Yeah, and that's not the position that they want to be in at all. They want this to be moving up 2-0. They will find Mono. It's a nice pickup here at the beginning. Yet again, Manabu's going to be used this way. He's looking for a target. I'm getting deja vu right now. Bionade's out onto Alarm. Can they finish him off? The rally's trying to keep him alive, but it's not going to be enough. Bernard will manage to beam him down to the end. Pulse Bomb stick over. Fights both supports. Carpe absolutely knocking it out of the park. Major pickup for him. And the Spark, I think they have to go for one final last-ditch reset, especially with Bernard falling. They need to die. They need to reset right here, right now. But Guangzhou, he's still alive, and Shy is still way too far forward. He's trying to get Hoppa out of this mech, but Hoppa just dives on top of the Mega Pack, which they have hacked. Guangzhou now dies with 25 seconds remaining. Carpe picks up both final blows, and this is catastrophic for the Hangzhou Spark.
Yeah, this is looking like maybe even not a cap now anymore.
Man.
They have ultimates coming online, and Carpe is fragging. We'll see 6-man EMP from EQO into a double pulse bomb kill on both the supports. I mean, Carpe probably heard me talking smack about Fusion not having good trace play, and my guy's been practicing in the break between Countdown Cup and now because he's looking great.
Somebody's got a touch. Next got a touch. Okay, makes his way into the back, falls down at 38 HP. Recalls out to safety. Now they're in on to the point. Guangzhou pops the Primal Rage, grabs a mini pack for some reason. Now needs to look to reaggress. Architect gets in on top of EQO, takes him low, but can't get the elimination. Will force the translocation out.
Hopper's not healed.
Transcendence is rolled. Hoppa's not healed, as you say. He's still currently hovering around half HP. He'll move out. Looks like he wants to give up the mech, and he will to the Deadeye. Shy breaks him down. The Baby Diva will fall. Mono going to be stunned up still, however, is going to be alive. As we see the rally rolling, grab comes out, and it seems like they should be able to get this cap, so it's going to be playing for a draw after all. They will not be held at point B. The Hangzhou Spark will manage to persevere, but just barely do they get this cap. Now they have to go to extra innings.
Seems like what the Spark. It seems like what the Spark really needed there was an opening kill into Alarm, take the backline down because the healing's been great, the damage on the backline's been great as well. Alarm's barely been pressured. This dude doesn't even have to use a Transcendence if he doesn't want to.
I can't believe he held it for so long.
And not even that one time as well. I mean, there's definitely been other situations where it's just like, you know what, maybe we could just hold it further. But Fusion have been defending super well. I mean, up until that last point, that was the highest value grab we could have possibly seen from Bernard as well. And obviously, when you are in the OT and Fusion are just dive bombing players onto the cap to try and keep it going, that's when you're going to find a high value grab, because before that, what are you really going to get? And Bernard has unfortunately not had any really successful grabs up until that point. Almost surprised that he even got a grab, because you need some time to build these. Had a bit of an extended fight to get there as well. I mean, Spark barely get it across the line, and hilariously as well, I mean, you saw part of the Spark gameplay that you're seeing right now is you nano Guangzhou. He makes the exact same dive onto the back bridge over towards the right, except in the last dive he saw absolutely nobody.
Yep.
Thought it was quite funny.
Oh, here we go. 2 minutes and 9 seconds on the clock for the Fusion. Just need a single tick to tie this up. Oh, I could put something out into the world right now, but maybe I won't do it because the Fusion fans will absolutely murder me if I do. But we'll see.
They'll murder their own team first.
That's true. Architect instantly being greeted by EQO. They cannot get the hack in. He's like, I've got a mini pack to play around, but will get forced to relocate there in the end. Which way? Down to about half HP. We'll get topped back up.
They just need to set up here.
For now. Ooh,
you just need to be patient. You need to have players like EQO in the right position, go for a manual hack play. EQO barely getting up with his life, but so far it seems okay for the Fusion. They haven't dropped any members yet. They're not farming ultimates yet. They're not looking for anything except for an actual dive set. But while they're making that happen, Coldest nearly has a nano. When the nano's been achieved, Guangzhou's going to receive it, and that will be the opening for the Spark as well.
Okay, EQO eliminated. This could be further delaying that EMP. A nice little pickup here from Shy. He's been doing his damnedest to try to put the Spark across the finish line this entire way through. Sleep Dart in, everybody collapses onto Funny Astro. The pickoffs are looking good. Mono slept, stunned. looking for that elimination. Alarm now going to be falling on the back end. Some further stagger there. This time is bought. Time just continues to drain away. 45 now.
Must have been a mistake to put the Nano to Burner. He had no energy there. Maybe switch to his POV. He's on like 5 energy as his eye with the Nano. Just tickling his opponents there, even with the damage boost. Normally it would go into Goose Ray. I have to assume that Coldest just misfired that. So the good news is, silver lining is you are going to get a faster grab instead of a faster Primal Rage. So once again, we'll have to see if this grab finds value. Alarm notably is going to have Transcendence. Why wouldn't he?
Bernard's still very low, and Carpe will manage to hound him down, but it costs him his life. Architect making that a 1-for-1 trade-off here. 12 seconds now remaining. The rally going to start rolling from Funny Astro. Mika still 15% away from his. Shy being pressed out into the back of the site. Now moves over, gets himself into the garage. Positioned nicely here for this Deadeye. Minefield going to be thrown down to the entry, but EQO is going to fall. The EMP comes out, but it doesn't catch anybody. Maybe Gucci, I can't really tell because of the Discord orb, but now the Transcendence is going to be rolling from Alarm. He's trying to keep things going. Mono's going to be picked off. Shy finishes him with a flashbang. The self-destruct over the top's not going to find anything, but they actually managed to zone them off with this self-destruct long enough to get the tick. The Philadelphia Fusion will not be forced into a draw. They will tie this up 1-1.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
Hey, somebody, we're on the same page here. Somebody needed to go for the touch, even despite the self-destruct. It has to happen. And now my mind
you
goes
have to give
back
your life for it
to the Nano play, where like they put the Nano onto Burner. And what is the difference here? The difference is, yeah, okay, you got a fast grab, but what does it do for you if you're relying on a grab to win? I've said this before. In this matchup, it's not going to be good enough. And Burner ends up going down. There's no grab there. There's no healing. He's just in the middle of nowhere looking for a Mega Pack. I don't know if we didn't find it, obviously. If Goose Ray had the Primal, so if they Nano Goose Ray had the Primal, they have way more staying power. That is a far more effective win condition defensively for the Hangzhou Spark than otherwise. But losing Burner, again, is kind of that's the omen that signals the end of that fight, pretty much the end of that defense. It's a 5v6, it just all starts to go awry. EMP only catches Architect there. And then I believe a further manual hack came in later on, but despite it not being the greatest EMP, Fusion had double support ultimates. They were set to go. They had the respawn advantage as well. It was all going Fusion's away, and then a self-destruct to put the cherry on top for the cap.
Unbelievable. I'm not sufficiently caffeinated to to try to process what is happening right now in this series. So I'm going to chug some coffee during the break, and when we come back, we'll see if anybody's going to be able to take a lead. We've got King's Row selected by the Hangzhou Sparks. We've got that to look forward to. We'll see you guys in just a few minutes.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by TeamSpeak, the official voice supplier of the Overwatch League. Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
Alrighty, we are back. We are just 2 maps now into this series. The Philadelphia Fusion just barely getting over the finish line there on Volskaya Industries. That was their map pick. They managed to take it away from the Hangzhou Spark, who were looking to force a draw in overtime. They managed to get that win. So now we are tied up 1-1 in this first of 3 series. So we have at least 2 more maps to be played. And that is a very interesting substitution, Avril. We have Carpe being subbed out, and Shockwave is coming in.
I feel like Carpe never gets subbed out. When was the last time you remember Carpe being subbed out? This is like...
It might be a stat line for us.
a permanent starter for the Fusion.
He's low bearing. You can't take Carpe out. The whole thing might just fall apart.
Oh, yeah, I think Carpe's been, probably one of the more, alongside obviously Alarm, who's always good, but Carpe's been one of the more impressive players today, especially Tracer, that 2K on the support line, beautiful stuff. Very, very much a player that's been consistently good so far today in the play-ins. And if there's a day for Carpe to look really good, it's absolutely going to have to be today. EQO so far had a reasonable game on the Sombra. I will note that part of that is due to the fact that Bernard's playing a Zarya. And now comes my speech about how I don't think Zarya is a very good hero, and that if you're playing it right now in this matchup, it's a bit of a noob trap. I said this about Philadelphia Fusion when they played against Seoul in the Countdown Cup knockouts, where, yeah, okay, Hotbutt looked good playing Zarya, but eventually it gets outpaced. Sombra does destroy the Zarya in the matchup here as well, because you're not spy checking, and you get your shields deleted by the EMP. That was what was happening to Bernard time and time again, and EQ is having a far easier time moving around the map because there is no D.Va to spy check that. So... there's a few things that are going definitely the way of the Fusion, as well as then some just weird decisions in the Sparks lineup where, okay, when are you taking fights here? Sometimes pulling the trigger too early, sometimes pulling the trigger too late, not backing out, playing that grab as Bernard dies. Like, what's going on here? There have been some really weird things in the Spark today, especially on Volskaya. A little bit on Oasis, but definitely Volskaya in the last map.
Alrighty, well, with this map pick of Kings Row, we'll have to see what the Spark have prepped for us. In all likelihood, I think that this, shifting over into hybrid, some longer sightlines here, this should very much lend itself to Shy going back over onto the Ashe and, having that comfort there. Was kind of surprised that we didn't have it on Volskaya at all, but decided to stick with
Yeah, I think firing lines on A are a little bit rough for Ashe. I think B is a little bit more doable, especially defensively. But you're not wrong. I think if there is going to be Ashe gameplay, I think Kings Row is probably going to be where that comes to. There's obviously that famous clip of Shy versus Shanghai Dragons on, I believe, Kings Row A, where he just deleted all of Shanghai Dragons.
Yeah.
That is, I think, the moment for Shy to come back in and show that Ashe once more. So there's a time for it. It's now obviously Fusion believe that because they got Shockwave back in. What is he playing? He's playing the Ashe.
Yeah, he is. But I guess the puzzling thing is that for this defensive setup, they're just going to be running Tracer, which Carpe was showing us that he can very much continue to play at a very high level. So to see what maybe this is going to be an attacking-sided aspect to this for the Fusion to justify this swap. Maybe
I think EQO goes Sombra on their attack. I think the reason, so I agree with you, but I think the reason why EQO is in to play the Tracer for Carpe is EQO's extra potential A Genji and B obviously the Sombra that he's playing. So that to me would be the flexibility reason why EQO's still there. And Spark are moving back over towards a Winston dive competition with Coldness and Anna, but they've finally gotten rid of that Zarya. I'm so happy.
Well, finally, it's going to be the Hanzo coming out for Shy, so still not going to be picking up the Ashe quite yet.
Yeah, they got to counter the shield from others. This does make sense for me.
Just going to be spamming away at it, forces their position, shifts them over to the side. Diving onto the high ground there from Gushway. We'll get shield bash for just a moment. Drops down to safety, though, as Shy continues to try to weave some arrows in. But just as soon as you get rid of one shield, it seems like another one comes right back up instantly. So it hasn't gotten too much damage in yet, but they have gained nearly 2 ticks for free. As the Fusion it's really rough for them to try to move down onto the low ground. They finally do so, though. Mono will find Gushway. Fire nades out onto both of the tanks. That's going to force the Immortality field, which does get cleaned up rather quickly from Bernard. But now Shy is going to be gone, so all that pick potential pretty much eliminated. Architect is still slinking around somewhere, but EQO is just taking names right now. The rally's committed to the fight from Mika. Just everything is going to be lost here realistically for the side of the Spark as they get cleaned up.
This is what I'm talking about, Achilles. They are throwing in these ultimates in a losing fight, and part of people out there might say, well, maybe they're trying to clutch. Really, you're trying to clutch with a nano brick. Is that how you're trying to clutch here? With then into a rally with no DPSs alive. That's not going to work. You need to save these nanos for Gooseray. Obviously, Gooseray dies when Coldest is at 97, 96%. Very unfortunate timing. But at that stage, just die, respawn, go again. Now they have no entry and alarm. It's just going to roll them with this Ant Matrix.
Yeah, Gooseray can't get out. He tries to leap to safety, but will just get finished off. So that's just going to be a nice pulse bomb as EQO says, hey, yeah, Carpe can do it. I can do it too. Gets both the supports in a 2-for-1 special. Follows up with a nice little melee hit onto Shy. And Bernard is just, they show him a little bit of mercy there as they want to get set up. So they will go ahead and finish him off. But that's half the time now gone. Granted, they do still start with 2 ticks, but this is looking brutal.
And, maybe they get in the next fight. I mean, I can see a situation where, all right, this is where Shy has the Dragon Strike. They strike it directly into Mano and Hopper and Alarm. Find an opening that way. Gooseray will have Prime with this fight. Looks good, right? They got to get past the Bob first.
Gonna harass Alarm
really
there
early, actually.
It is. Just keeping him zoned. Okay, it's just actually going to finish off Architect. Dragon Strike, not really aimed too much at them. Gets them out of Hotel, I suppose.
Again, why are they using ults here? Architect is dead. They're not even engaging 5v6. It's not like they were trying to make a dive happen off the Dragon while the Supercharge was there and playing into it. Shy just threw a Dragon Strike for no reason. It does nothing. They keep throwing ultimates into the field with 0 value.
Yeah, you don't have like a hull to try to drag them together. Bionic not going to find anything, but it will just, enable some extra healing here onto Gooseray. Now the Nano Boost is going to be used. He's trying to zone them out of the hall. Gets in on top of Shockwave and will manage to get that elimination. So, fortunately for them, they do find one. Self-destruct deep into the back. Hoppa just going to be using his straight up over towards the statue. He will find Coldest. That's a pickup. Immortality Pill allows him to get back into the mech safely. Get rid of that. Hoppa chases in, tries to get rid of this Hangzhou, and he's going to find that elimination. Shy cannot get out to safety fast enough. Now Mika's going to fall. Funny Asher will get the dunk before. He can try to use the rally, though, and Alarm's going to be swapping over onto the Moira now to try to get back over the point just a little bit faster, but decides to think better of it. We'll go right back over to that Baptiste. Now, Hoppa going to be broken out of the mech, and it seems like this should finally be the cap coming in, surely, for the side of the Spark. And they continue to play this forward.
Shockwave will enter with his own life and try and hold this. It seems like a bit of a throw now. I don't know who the Bob. In fact, I don't even know where the Bob is. I'm pretty sure Shockwave dies as the Bob comes through, so it ends up being a waste.
Animation canceled.
Oh,
no, there it is.
Oh, is it? Okay. Well, now, unfortunately, what happens is Gooseray will just farm damage over to give it over to Coldest for healing. So, Bob was there, but funny enough, Bob wasn't on the point. That's the one place the Bob needs to be. So, a little bit of a late attempt from Fusion. The reason why Spark can easily get that is due to the fact that both Alarm and Funny Asher fell in that last fight. Architect killing Funny Asher right at the end there. Very, very important frag. As now Hangzhou Spark finally have ultimates to play through. And now you need to see them layer these in correctly in the right order. Nano first. Well, Dragon Strike works as well, but here comes the Nano.
Alright, Dragon Strike, not going to find too much. Pulse bumps out from EQO, but he's going to fall. Shy with a very nice headshot, finishes him off. Gooseray, however, just a little bit too deep in there. Gets slept, gets focus fired, get that elimination. Bionate out on the Coldest, takes him down to a sliver of HP, and Mono will be able to finish him off in the end. Spots out the Baby Diva, says, I don't need to worry about you right now. Let's clean up the rest of the team. As Bernard takes a nice little nap. And then we'll just get domed in the end. So good little fight win here for the side of the Fusion to wrest control away from the Spark.
That was like every single one of Spark's ultimates as well, unfortunately. So they'll be cleaned out almost entirely outside the Primal Rage, which never got played in that fight. I mean, everyone fell very quick. I mean, even great pocketing from Hotburs on the defense matrix to make sure that Shy on the off angle of the Hangzhou wasn't going to get a free kill to Alarm.
Looking to break through. Force their position back around the corner. You can see just the bubble system being utilized here by Mono, making sure that he is completely protected on that right side. Dive in comes through. It's going to be the Nano Boost out on the Shockwave. Just to try to keep him alive, him being the dive target. Bomb to the back of Bernard. Will manage to find two, though. Very nice angle from him. Finds Hoppa, finds Shockwave, denies the remech from the Baby Diva. Funny Astra will find Mika, however, as the rally is rolling, armoring up the rest of the team. Two casualties on the side of the Fusion looking to rejoin. Architect now going to fall. Funny Astra swings away. Shield goes up. He's trying to stay alive. He's trying to keep himself sustained. It seems like it's just working. Alarm keeps him topped up. Now they dive into the bubble. They look for the finish here onto Guangzhou. EQO with the chase will manage to find it. Found coldest moments before. The cleanup is going to be there, and with 10 seconds remaining, Bernard will have one final stagger. And it's just absolutely brutal. They finish him off. The time will now bleed away. And I don't think anybody realistically can even touch this one. The cart there will rest. About halfway through the streets phase is as far as it needs to go for the Fusion to take this to map point.
Another situation where Fusion bend but don't break. You have to give credit to Funny Asher and Alarm. What a fantastic support duo they've been so far. Keeping everybody alive, peeling for each other. You see Architect on this Reaper trying to make a backstab play, had the flank going. Zero output, really. Funny Asher in his face almost immediately. The fact that they survive after Bernard's 2K on the self-destruct is gross. Philadelphia Fusion winning that situation after being eliminated, double 2 players dead, including Shockwave, who had received a nano, by the way. And I'm not a huge fan of the fact that Alarm is running an nano in that composition where you're wondering, okay, why nano Shockwave? Because there's no one else. Who else are you meant to nano in that composition? You're not going to nano Mano unless he's quite low on HP. Hopper's playing a Diva. You know, there's not great targets. There's not that Winston, you know, that's the primary target. Maybe you think about a Tracer if EQO had a Pulse Bomb. But they lose 2, including the nano Shockwave, and then Hopper is on. They still pull it back. I mean, that is clutch factor for Fusion, who are in a winning position now. I mean, that also a great position to actually hold that payload. It did not get a lot of distance.
All right, well, defensive setup here for the side of the Spark. Shy is going to be shifting over to the Sombra Architect on the Tracer. Not looking to have any kind of bunker. It's Coldest going to show up a little lineup here. Huge. It's actually a really good lineup.
I'm a little upset that it only gives him 14%. I mean, it'll be worth it. As we've seen plenty of times, Coldest had many times in this matchup now only missed nano timings by about 4 or 5%. And Guangzhou just died, remember that. So, like, hey, 14%, you'll take it.
Absolutely, it's a nice little boon. Boost up there is EQO. He flashed the Genji for just a moment, but decided to go over to the Reaper. Architect kind of botching his dash there for a moment. Does barely get away without getting punished, but get a punishment. Coldest going to be the first one to fall. Alarm finds the kill. Immortality Field keeps him alive for a little bit longer. Alarm will be sustained. Funny Astro keeps him in the fight as EQO is just running over everybody. Shy going to be the last one to fall, it would seem. That being said, Guangzhou now going to jump in onto the point for just a moment. The cap is coming in. It's going to be a massive time bank, and the Fusion don't have to go very far with it. 5.5 minutes. Why the hell not?
And with Coldest dying first as well, I mean, the nano timing is completely ruined now. Guangzhou has far more ult charge, which is, I mean, that's still good. But ideally, Coldest dies last and get a faster nano here. EQO playing a Reaper is not even ideal for this comp. Part of the reason why he's even going Reaper is because it punishes Guangzhou so much, and so they're just thinking, look, if Spark want to force Winston more and more and more, we're going to respond with the Reaper. And that's what they're going to move forward with now as Alarm has Ant Matrix available. You better hope that, okay, Nano has to be the play to counter this one, otherwise you lose all the space. Alarm's looking for the Doom window, the one that's going to finish this entire map.
Okay, Hack goes out, finds Alarm, dive comes in. Managed to stay alive. Funny Astro now going to be popping the rally. The Bongo going to be down on the ground, supercharging up all that damage. Pulse Bomb will go ahead and cut that short. Jump into the back Guangzhou, looking to move them away from this Ant Matrix. Almost loses his life for that, though. Just barely managed to stay alive. Self-destruct up over the top. Hopper looking for some picks. Forces them indoors, but manages to fight both supports. Mika, you've got a shield. I'm not sure what happened. Shockwave will get Architect in the skull, and that is it. This map is done. Shy is the only one left standing. The EMP will hit all 6. Hooray! It's massive, but it means absolutely nothing. They blaze their way to a finish with a 4-minute, 20-second remaining time bank. Philadelphia Fusion now move up to 1 in this series.
Burner. Actually, nothing to do with it. I was thinking back on the self-destructs here. That was hot, but I was right. My point was going more towards Mika and Coldest, where they've been consistently taken down quite early in these fights. Hopper dropping the 2K onto Mika and Coldest, fight's over straight away. There was just no ability for the Spark to re-enter that fight, even with the Primal, even with the Nano. Barely got any opportunity to push the Fusion off their Ant Matrix. And yeah, they only needed one good Ant Matrix that oversees the payload and the finishing edge of that box of victory. And that was going to be it. Hopper just seals the deal, slams dunk it for a victory. And that has now been the most dominant map of the series so far.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, so very one-sided there from the side of the Fusion. So incredible. little victory. I mean, you have to remember that was the Sparks map pick. You know, they decided to bring us here. Now they have to choose again, but it's their last opportunity to do so. They cannot afford another loss. We'll see where they land on when we come back from the break. So don't go anywhere, guys. Fusion up 2-1. One more map pushes them forward to the next series versus the Dynasty.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
Alrighty, we are back. Kings Row, the map pick from Hangzhou Spark, ends in utter devastation. The Philadelphia Fusion close out that map in one of the most one-sided affairs that we've seen. Certainly the most one-sided affair so far today. But now they are on their last leg. They have one final map pick to try to keep this series going. But I don't know. It's not looking great, Avril. Fusion right now at match point.
It's getting worse, and that's the troubling thing. It's concerning because Spark started out the day very strong on Oasis. Close matchups, 3 sub-maps that we played, all basically going to 99s across the board. We look at then Volskaya. Okay, you know, they at least we go to a time bank. They can't quite survive against the time bank push coming through from Fusion. Understandable. Then we get to King's Row, and it's, oh my god, it's starting to get really bad now. We're sliding down a hill. It's a landslide for Spark in terms of where the skill is. Like, what's going on? They need to save this now because their season life depends on it. They have one more opportunity to bring it back around, maybe take us to a map 5, maybe then get a chance to face Seoul. And the winner of that goes to playoffs. There's only one team that can go to playoffs right now, and Philly look far stronger than the Spark do.
Yeah, they absolutely do. They're very much vying for that spot in the next series where they'll have to, you know, overcome some demons, I suppose, if they can close this out, because you never know what's going to happen when you get Fusion and the Dynasty together. We just know that there's going to be a lot of spaghetti to enjoy. But that's a future topic. Maybe we can go to map 5. I hope that the Hangzhou Spark can make it happen because you don't want to go out on a whimper. That's not how you want to end your season. So if they can get a map win coming in here, take us to a 5th and final round of Control, I think that would be a very satisfying ending for all parties involved. So we'll see where they're going to be taking us here for Escort in just a moment. Or I could just spoil it as well. Going to Route 66. Screw it.
Oh, you should just pretend. Like, oh, I think they might go to
I have no
Route
idea.
66, maybe. Ooh, possibly, possibly.
I have the lobby in front of me. I'm looking at everything. The admin's like, you guys ready?
Let me
and
talk.
I'm just...
let me bring up one important point for Route 66 that Spark might want to look at, and that is the Shy Ash. We've still not seen the Shy Ash.
Please.
And I'm not too sure what's going on here, because
I know,
as we kind of mentioned, King's Road probably was going to be in that. I mean, for Christ's sakes, Shockwave, he brought out the Ash, and he's like one of their hit scan players. Shockwave's quite flexible. He plays a lot of hit scan. If you watch his streams, he plays like Widowmaker's one of his primary heroes. So that's not like a weird thing, but what is weird is that Shy is not doing it. He played the Hangzhou. Again, understandable. You play the Hangzhou because you're trying to counter Mana on the Orisa. Makes sense. I get it. But Route 66, it's got to be the Ash map. This has got to be where, you know, Shy goes back into his carry performances, because Shy's been good today. His Tracer was quite good, actually. But there hasn't been that force of nature style of carry play when you look at players that exist out there, especially on the MVP list. I'm talking about guys like Lip and Leave, who can just exert their will upon the game and force you to win. That's what Shy was doing early in the year, and I haven't seen it yet today.
Yeah, I mean, he's been, you know, fairly heavily impactful in these maps so far. You know, you'd say that he seems to kind of be like the one constant, I guess, for the side of the Spark that they can continue to depend on. But everything else has kind of been disjointed around him. But it's not been with that major pickup of the Ash yet. So we'll have to just wait and see. He's playing everything else other than it, but now on their last legs, I would expect to see him bring it up, but time will tell as we do go ahead and jump into Route 66.
I mean, I'm gonna be real as well. If it's not on the Ash, it needs to be somewhere else. The point is, I don't know that we've seen him have that kind of superstar carry performance yet on anything today. Trace has been good. Green's been good. We know him for is the Ash.
Well, I mean,
we have a 75% win rate on Escort maps, by the way. So
we should point out it's incredibly difficult when you've been casting a game for a very, very long time to break habits. So we know that there is a cowboy with no name currently in the game. So we will occasionally be saying McCree by in the heat of the moment. But it is what it is. Bear with us while we try to transition into a new term. You can call him Rudy Tooty Point Shooty Man, I guess. Shooty Bang Bang.
I call him the Shy needs to get a lot of damage done in this hero right now.
Please, God, Shy, do something, man.
We are looking back over towards Bernard Zarya once again. It's not my favorite, but it'll have to do. It gives EQ another great matchup here, so EQ once more is not going to get spy checked. Is going to have a lot of fun times, dropping a fat EMP all over the shields of Bernard. And Hangzhou Spark going to have to take a while to charge up these nanos, and hopefully the timings are good.
Okay, well, Switchway goes in. Shy will manage to find a pick here for his squad. Gets rid of Alarm. That's going to be a very slow run back for him. So does buy a decent amount of space now. Gets himself onto a nice little flank. Flashbang connects. Hunt was instantly greeted by that anti-nade. And that Baby Diva will get finished off as Architect goes forward, gets that melee hit. Funny Astro not going to be able to survive. And this is the kind of power that Shy has needed to be exerting this entire time. But he's doing it here in the 11th hour. Finds those opening kills. Buys quite a bit of space. Cart now rounding the final corner.
Yeah, incredible damage to start things out with. Just in that small line of play as well, nearly has a Deadeye, was above 10,000 damage for 10, as well as the payload is reaching the final point of A as well. And despite Gushue dying, Shy then coming up big is exactly what we need to see. Kiwo's nearly on that EMP, and they need an opening for this defense.
Lana taking quite a bit from that fan. The hammer. Gushue now jumping into the back. EMP is going to be used solo onto Gushue, and they will find that elimination. Carpet goes down as well. Deadeye now going to be popped. Pulse bomb out from Architect, not going to be able to find too much. Alarm just moving up over top of the cart, knew that he was safe. Keeps everybody alive. Now the rally's going to be rolling. We're just a meter away. So you see that slight pullback here. He's waiting for the rejoin of the whole squad. Armor going out onto both sides. Spinar shifts around the back of the gas station here with the rest of his team. Pile driver only going to find Gushue, taking him up into the air. Shy falling low, steadily get topped back up as he's the focus of that Discord orb. Grab's almost up, but Bernard, low energy, won't find too much impact. Shy's going to get picked off. This might just be the call for an entire reset here. Oh no.
No, or Bernard can use it as he goes down. The second time we've seen that today, first on Volskaya, now on Route 66, it's a bit more of a disaster. Yeah, I mean, they just can't decide. Should they stay in? Should they back out? Is it time to disengage? Or do we go ham? Bernard doesn't have enough energy. You said that already. And it's tough sometimes. You're in a 5v6 and you're thinking, can we just go in? And it gets completely ruined in terms of timing because you lose Shy, your primary DPS, your primary source of damage, but you are just on the precipice of that grab, which is what you were waiting for. Beyond that as well, the only other things you could be waiting for are the Gushue Primal or the Coldest Nano, which you'll have in this fight, but now at the expense of not having a grab anymore.
Yeah, I mean, just confusing. I mean, just so much just posturing and then getting nothing done. I guess floundering might be the best term for it there from the side of the Spark, and it all just falls apart. The grab gets used. Bernard's still sticking through with it. Deadeye now out. Shy looking for a target. EQO going to be forced away, but I mean, the EMP is still ready. He can just come right back into the fight. The Transcendence is there. I mean, it's 6 ultimates now available for the side of the Fusion. Rally's rolling to try to survive through that anti-nade. Alarm's going to be bopping the Trance, keeps everybody topped up. Bernard is the first one to fall. They pile in on top of everyone, and they will die. Shy and Coldest both going to be taken out of the fight. Mika now going to be joining them in the grave, as is Gushue, and it seems like that might just be the hopes of the Spark fizzling out of existence here in this series. Cannot get the completion onto point A. The respawn's getting ready to come through. They have to be entirely reliant on Bernard just to even touch this card.
It's looking rough. 2 seconds left to go. They have to rally pretty much straight away. They don't even get there. The body block, okay.
It's way too late.
Just for a moment there wasn't a lot of time left. Burnout was going for it, and he got body blocked. So credit to the Fusion. Technically not a C9, because while they got denied from
they weren't winning that fight anyway.
Yeah, probably not. Honestly, probably not. Fusion's defenses today have just been too solid. Look at King's Row, B hold, great stuff.
Yeah.
Look at this now, full hold on A. It's getting better, isn't it? Because we went from a Volskaya time bank that ended up being an OT push that won it for the Spark, into then a B hold, and now into a full hold on A. So this has been improving gameplay from Fusion, and unfortunately, I talked about this landslide for the Spark in terms of where their gameplay is going, and it's still currently sliding down, and they haven't fixed it. It's only looking worse.
It feels like the Fusion are just continuously sapping the power away from the Spark. They started off so strongly. I mean, Bernard and the Diva at the beginning, we did nothing but sing praises for him. He was finding picks. He was playing incredibly well. You know, had a pulse bomb meet earlier on Oasis. And then you get the look on this Zarya, and you just have to say, this ain't it.
It's not even just
I mean, we still have Shy, even now on the defense. He's still going to play shooty bang bang.
it's not even just the Zarya. It's the combination of the fact that they are pumping resources into Goose Race Winston, which traditionally has been another win condition for the Spark. It just isn't today. He jumps in, he gets melted, he gets destroyed, he's not getting enough done. This is a Winston that receives all the nanos, gets all the bubbles, and can't get more done. And so, yeah, maybe you should put maybe the reallocation of resources required here, move Bernard away from the Zarya, because the two real pillars of Zarya gameplay is put bubbles onto the person you want to carry, and then also get energy and be a carry yourself. So far, both of those things are not working for Bernard or the Spark.
All right, well, looking to place a ring around the rosy. TP up onto the high ground. Shy will find that opening pick. Getting EQO with a flashbang. Ends it with a headshot, but nobody's peeling him. Cold is just sitting there. He's not looking at his...
Well, they don't have a D.Va.
He's not looking at his DPS player, and then he just dies. Oh, that is just catastrophic now. They don't have Shy, they don't have any supports, and that just might be it right there. I mean, one final chance at a contest, but the staggers are still coming in as Hoppa cleans up too, and it seems like the Fusion are just going to be very casually gliding in to a series versus the Seoul Dynasty in just a little bit here. Somebody's got to touch, and I don't know who can do it. I mean, Shy is somewhat nearby, but he will have to give his life for this. Okay, Bernard will come crashing in, but instantly dies. It's just a brief little moment. Nobody else can touch. And that is it. It's unfortunately the ending that I was hoping to avoid. The season will end with a whimper for the side of the Hangzhou Spark. Their road in 2021 Overwatch League ends here. The Philadelphia Fusion, however, persevere, and they have at least one series left in them as they will get ready to go up against the Seoul Dynasty.
Not with a spark bang, but with a whimper. Architect comes in on the Genji for the final contest. He finishes the 2019 season as a champion with a Genji. He'll finish the 2021 season, unfortunately, not reaching the playoffs, and neither will the rest of the Spark lineup either, and that includes Shy, who at one point I would have said easy, and I have said, as we've both been here, was in contention for Rookie of the Year. But that started to move away when, you know, Spark's performances started sliding down. They had an 0-4 stage as well. Really unfortunate stuff. And now we look back on the Spark and say their greatest height was, I think, June Joust with a 4-0 finish they had, which then they unfortunately lost the knockout game to New York, who ended up going to June Joust. And, you know, grats to New York. Good for them. But Spark, they look like the most dominant team during that stage, and they have never been able to capture that magic again since the June Joust. And now, unfortunately, the way they exit the entire season in the play-ins here is a bit of a sad way. But this bodes very well for the Philadelphia Fusion as they get to now meet their old-time rivals in Seoul Dynasty.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that is one hell of a series that we have on the horizon, but it's unfortunately just quite apt, I guess, for the side of the Spark, you know. Bright and just, you know, that flash, but it lasts for just an instant. That's what Spark is, and unfortunately that's just kind of the perfect summary of their 2021 season. So a flash in the pan in the June Joust, and then it just kind of has fizzled out very steadily since then. But this is the end of the line for them. Fusion will get to play on. Let's go ahead and take a look at our player of the match and see who it's at. Production told me, but unfortunately I didn't hear it, so I'll just learn alongside you guys. EQO, alrighty. Well, man who has been under a bit of, you know, scrutiny from time to time here on the side of the Philadelphia Fusion. He manages to net it for himself. Wonderful performance from him, and really, I like the musical chairs rotations that the Philadelphia Fusion were doing here with their DPS lineup. It seemed like they knew exactly who to field at every single moment. It seems like it was never made out of desperation.
Must have left Rascal's chair at home, though.
That's true.
For that one. But aside from that, Shockwave, EQO, and Carpe seem to have gotten fairly equal playtime across the board. Here, EQO, I think Tracer-wise actually started to look pretty decent, especially in this matchup.
Oh, yeah.
At the time was one of their more dominant maps. Obviously, the Route 66 became the most dominant map. I think a lot of EQO's gameplay today was assisted by the fact that they had a great Sombra matchup in that A, there was never a Sombra on the Spark side to contest him, and B, well, very rarely was a Sombra, I should say, and B, there was never really, or very rarely, a D.Va to contest him either. And then obviously we saw the Reaper gameplay coming up through and just walking over Goose Raid, walking over Spark, completely running through them. And QO, okay, a couple of missing EMPs, but generally the gameplay was fine. The gameplay was much improved from what we saw versus Seoul Dynasty in their last showing. And now that they go up against Seoul Dynasty again, he's going to need to do what he just did in this matchup, but even better.
Yeah, I mean, the whole team is going to have to, put forth just an incredible effort you would expect. Because, I mean, getting ready to go up against the Profits duo, Dynasty, they have the luxury of being able to sit back, watch what the Fusion are bringing to the table, see these rotations that they're doing with their DPS lineups, and then try to play around that for that upcoming series. But, yeah, I mean, really well done, whether it was on the Tracer, whether it was on the Sombra, which we saw him predominantly on, even the Reaper. When he brought out the Reaper, it was just incredibly done. You can see 25 eliminations, 25 enemies hacked. So basically, every single time EQO hacked somebody, they died.
Which is pretty awesome. I mean, that's the other thing as well. I mean, just really good manual hacks to deliver kills over. A lot of Fusion's comps today were not centered around, outside the EMP that is, they were not centered around ultimate-based win conditions. They were ball dives, Tracer in there as well. We're looking for situations where really the way for Fusion to win is they need to set up successful dives, have EQ on an off angle, find these manual hacks, get Mano in there, get Carpe in there with the Tracer, and then find these engages, right, and punish players like Gouche, who's going to be diving into the Winston, and once the bubble's gone, that's a free pick for you. So finding these manual hacks for EQO is absolutely what needs to be happening, and again, will need to happen more so in the next match.
All right, well, guys, we're going to be going to a little bit of an extended break while we allow the Fusion to cool down a little bit and then get jazzed up for their next series. That's right, they're going back-to-back straight into the next series versus the Seoul Dynasty. This is for everything. This is for that final spot in the playoffs from the APAC region, and both teams are going to be vying for it. It's another first to three, and I'm just gonna say, I think this one's going to 5. I think it might even go to 6. You never really know what you're gonna get when it comes down to the spaghetti bowl. But boy, am I absolutely prepared to feast on this. I hope you guys are as well. So don't go anywhere, guys. Tune back in, because that is a series that you absolutely do not want to miss. Wake up your friends, wake up your family. I don't care. Get everybody tuning in, because this is gonna be an insane series.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
Alrighty, we are back. Kind of debated myself a little bit. So excited to get into that next series. I completely forgot about our game break, so we can go ahead and break down the what action there was, I suppose, in that first series. So if you're just tuning in, if you're ready for the marquee matchup, the big one to decide the final team, it's going to be moving forward into the playoffs. Have to wait just a little bit longer.
Yep.
But for now, let's go ahead and go back over this series. 3-1 victory for the side of the Fusion. Very rocky start for them, though. I mean, Hangzhou Spark, they looked really clean at the beginning of this.
I would say that, in my opinion, Fusion probably improved slightly over the series. But for me, Spark slid off heavily over the series. That's why they were so close at the start. And when you watch over this, and part of the other reason is in this particular matchup as well, on Control, I think Control's a better game mode for a team when, you know, you can be a bit more scrappy, a little bit more chaotic here as well. And by the way, Cold, I mean, that's one example. Coldest had a ridiculous map here. Some of the sleeps he was landing were gorgeous. And I remember specifically saying after Oasis, I was like, dude, there may be some concerns over lack of skill because they don't have MCD. He's gone. He's obviously been ejected from the roster. And Coldest was going to have some big shoes to fill in terms of skill level. And in that first map, I was like, oh, he's filled them. It's fine. We're good. Like, Coldest has filled those shoes comfortable. But as the matchup goes on, we get Volskaya now, Carpe finding these double pulse bomb kills on the back line, turning fights heavily. Spark did themselves no favors either with one of the plays that we will remember very distinctly is the fight where Bernard dropped the grab and then dying immediately while Spark was already down.
Which time?
Plenty of other players like that. Happened again on Route 66 happened again on Spark as well, where they had like weird plays after the first fight. Coldest and Mika dropped in Nano and Rally. It was Nano onto Mika, who then rallies. And then there was another subsequent fight after that where Shai just throws a Dragon Strike into nothing. So there's been a lot of that kind of stuff happening for Spark that baffles the brain in terms of decision making.
Yeah, I really appreciate seeing that replay at the very end there of that beautiful halt from Mono to pull the two back into line of sight of that self-destruct on King's Row. Very great heads-up play from him to make sure that they got those kills. And I mean, it was already a bit of a steamroll, but it made it that much flashier for the side of the Fusion. But there you go. I mean, unfortunate ending for the side of the Hangzhou Spark. For them and their fans, going to have to wait until the 2022 season to see them yet again. That is the end of the line. But the Fusion, they're not done yet. And guys, yeah, it is time for that extended break. It is time to get jazzed up and get ready for the Spaghetti Bowl, because good God, do we have a series coming up. Seoul Dynasty versus the Fusion. This is going to be absolutely nuts. The water's already boiling. The pasta's just about to go in. Let's see what happens when we come back from the break. We'll see you guys on the other side of this timer.
Nice check. Yeah.
Okay, use one check.
Thanks, good.
All good.
AP대 모이킹
레디 할게요.
나 힐줘야 돼. 야, 안 주냐?
필드.
If I get walled, just run away and laugh at me.
Yeah. 야, 애틀랜타 4명이서 찍었네.
박보검.
뭘?
그런.
왜 4명이서
오, 데니도?
Is it me? Is it you? We just have different points of view.
아, 야, 에틀 4명에 총도 넷인데? 우리 조수로 보네.
야, 우린 이럴 게 없다.
왜 그런지 알아?
왜?
애틀이 1등이고 성주도 1등이니까.
그러네.
아, 안전충이네 다.
뭐 안전충이지. 원래 저런 거 다 안전충이야.
아,
Yeah, if they go ball, just tap the feet, lay down, put your mice down.
I would honestly stand up from the computer and leave.
I can surf.
Maybe not.
What is respawn timer? Was it 7 8 seconds?
How do you not know it's not 10?
Because the first 2 seconds I'm tilted.
Okay, good luck, guys. Work together. You guys got it.
No, you definitely know it's 10.
It's not 10. What?
It is.
It's not 10.
It is.
It's not 10.
It is.
Oh.
Take TP,
Yeah,
guys.
yeah.
Take TP.
What's fine?
TP.
They behind?
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Kev. You're focused there. Whoa. Joke. I thought 10 was like overtime.
No, it's 10 seconds default. I swear to God.
Well, let me die for a start quick. Yeah, let me just die real quick. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, ball.
go. Nano for Profit takes down the legs. Looking for a little bit more, gets the Diva, and Profit off the Nano boost. That should seal it.
Yeah, why not just throw the barrage there?
And Huppa, high energy on the point, looking to beam them all down. It's very back and forth between the two teams. Graviton, though, from Huppa, that could be a finisher. Shy still out on the outskirts, but doesn't matter. Huppa punches in the face.
Both Shy and IDK go down as Jester pops off the supercharger. Able to get so much damage here.
He's gotten more and more evasive as the round has gone on. The Nano on the EQO. Now looking, Lee gone. Oh, he takes it to the backside.
What? 2 rockets, 2 kills with the Nano boost. EQO is a beast on this Pharah.
Alrighty, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is time. It is upon us now. The final match here in the play-ins for the APAC region. One of these two teams is going to be advancing forward into the playoffs. Avril, we've got the Philadelphia Fusion, fresh off their victory over the Hangzhou Spark, a 3-1 series, getting ready to go up against the Seoul Dynasty. That's right. It's the Spaghetti Bowl rematch.
Get your forks out. Whatever utensil you want to eat with.
I've got,
get your plates ready. We got. I mean, we're there.
I have one right here.
Dine.
I have my fork.
Well done. Well done.
I'm prepared.
I don't have anything, but I'll get something when we transition into the map. I'm sure we're all ready to feast because in the Spaghetti Bowl, everybody wins. One of these two teams loses, but everybody else wins, except obviously the fan base that will be really upset later on. As I'm sure, again, as I said the last time we were here for the Spaghetti Bowl, I relish that kind of stuff. I will thoroughly enjoy that. So to me, I think the thing I'm looking out for the most here, Seth, is not so much who's going to be winning today, but who's going to be losing today. That to me is just that much sweeter. So,
all right. Well, let's go ahead and get right into the thick of things by starting off with the starting lineup of the Philadelphia Fusion. Saw them changing around multiple DPS players. Let's see if they have any more tricks up their sleeve or if it's going to be a lot of what we just saw. Starting off, it's going to be Carpe and Shockwave yet again, and of course, everything else is going to be the same.
So, Seoul have already seen this. If they paid attention to the games, which I'm sure they have, they would have been warming up themselves, obviously. Philly used the Hangzhou Spark as their warm-up scrim, so now that we get into the game of the evening here, the final match, the Insufferable, the Miserable, the Spaghetti Bowl, whatever you want to call it, this is the one rivalry in the APAC region I think is the most exciting. Outside of Chengdu, Shanghai, which has also been kind of brewing in the background, this to me is such an excellent rivalry because of the stakes involved, not just here, but in previous seasons as well. You'll all have remembered in 2020 last year, that season as well, Philly got knocked out by Seoul, who then went on to the grand finals. And sure, they lost, but they made it far more than the Philadelphia Fusion did. Yeah. And these two teams since then have been battling pretty neck and neck. I believe the scoreline to date is something like 5-3 in favor of Seoul. But that 5-3, 2 of those games happened very recently in the Countdown Cup. That includes a reverse sweep that Seoul got, and then the Countdown Cup knockout game where Seoul won as well. So those are 2 games that gave Seoul that 5-3, and now they're leading ever so slightly as a higher seed coming into this as well. Let's go ahead and take a look at Seoul's opening lineup as well.
Yeah, see what they're going to be bringing to the table. We, for the most part, kind of know what to expect, but the tank line, I was going to say, is always the one that you're never really certain what's going to happen. And it's going to be Marvel stepping back in alongside to you after a very long stretch of seeing nothing but gesture.
I think I know what this is. I believe this would be Ryan. Because, and while it's a bit of a meme as well between Marvel and Gesture in terms of who plays, seems like a bit of a coin flip depending on what stage we're looking at. Melee, it was Gesture. I can't remember if Marvel played during Joust, but we do know that Marvel played, I think, quite a bit in Summer Showdown, then Gesture played Countdown Cup. So they've been kind of changing and swapping based on where we are in the tournament cycles. And now that we're in playoffs, it's like, all right, well, Gesture gets subbed out again, Marvel gets to play again. But I actually think specifically because Lucio's back in, Anima probably jumps onto that. Whatever opening control map's going to be, there will be a bit of Ryan gameplay. And we've already seen Fusion roll into that on University versus Hangzhou Spark, of which they actually lost, by the way. So Seoul probably looking at that like, hey, there's a bit of a weakness here. Maybe we can capitalize. These are 2 of the teams, Fusion and Dynasty, that have played some of the most brawl of all teams in our entire Eastern Division in APAC. So, if anything, these should be the 2 best teams at this specific composition. And I wouldn't be surprised if Marvel then gets subbed out for Gesture when they want to go dive again.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to just try, just kind of wait and see, what the map is going to be, whether or not they are going to be going for the brawl compositions here. But like you said, big boons being able to move back over onto the Lucio there. I mean, I know Funny Astro, of course, is going to be very happy to be able to go back to the Lucio whenever possible, and he was instrumental in them finding success in that brawl matchup versus the Hangzhou Spark. Granted, kind of fell apart a little bit at the end, even though the Spark wasted both of their DPS ultimates, and then still won the fight. So they're going to look to improve upon it a little bit more, I suppose, for the side of the Fusion, but it is a scary prospect going up against the Seoul Dynasty, just straight up, for these guys, because they have had this very back and forth history between these two organizations. I mean, last year the meme was, flew 12 hours just to lose. Now they've been here this entire season. And I would reckon
they came to Korea permanently.
I'd reckon that I think you said it's 5-3 the scoreline right now favoring this Seoul Dynasty. I reckon that if the Fusion can beat them and knock them out of playoffs contention, that's good for 2. So I think that ties it up at 5-5 if they win this series.
Oh, it'll be worth all. This is for all the marbles here, because the thing about these two teams is, okay, they haven't always been the ones to knock each other out. And if you look back in the tournament cycles, Shanghai and Chengdu are combined for quite a few of the knockouts for both these teams, including the one very unfortunate one that happened to Fusion in May Melee, and that, based on that, they didn't get through to the first tournament where they had the 4-0 start rate. Dynasty have also faltered plenty of times. It wasn't until they met each other in Countdown Cup that one team eventually went on through, and that happened to be the Seoul Dynasty. So Seoul have been very steadily climbing in terms of their skill level over the course of the season. And that's scary because we already know that playoffs profit exists. We already know that Seoul level up during the playoffs. The problem Seoul have always had is, well, how do they look getting to the playoffs? Because usually in the regular season, I say usually being up their past performances last year, they didn't look good. Now they've had one of the best regular seasons. That's why they're the 3rd seed. They wouldn't be the highest seed in play-ins if it wasn't for the fact that they've actually made every single knockout for all 4 tournaments and then attended the last tournament that we had as well. So they've had one of the best regular seasons we've ever seen out of Seoul. And now we're approaching a Seoul where I think Seoul only have room to grow here. Like, okay, they got outclassed at the tournament. We get it. Chengdu are very good. Gladiators won. Atlanta is still Atlanta, even with Pelican on ping or not there. But Seoul have room to go because we're in the playoffs now. We're talking about playoffs profit. Guess what? That's like right now.
Alrighty, well, guys, the moment is upon us. It is time to take a look at our map set, see where we're going to be heading here to kick off the series. Reminder, just in case you missed the first one, that it is going to be loser selects the following map, but we'll see where we're going for control in just a moment here. To kick off this set between the Philadelphia Fusion and the Seoul Dynasty, it is Busan. Home field advantage for the side of the Dynasty.
I think we started with this as well. During the last Spaghetti Bowl, we started on Busan. I'm fairly certain of that.
Yeah,
Not only that, but here's what's going to happen. Okay, so I did talk about Marvel maybe playing Orion here. He's obviously going to play ball on downtown, but then he'll move over to Ryan probably for Mecha Base, and then obviously on Sanctuary it's another ball map. So part of the reason why you might want Marvel in is that he has been their ball player. I mean, in Summer Showdown, Marvel was their ball player, right? So he can play the ball in the Rhine. Jesha comes in for the Winston in the ball. And so now Seoul have kind of gotten this lineup thing worked out where they actually have a good position for both tank players instead of just having one in and not the other one at various tournament cycles. But let's kick things off now. It's Mano starting out on the Orisa of all heroes. Shockwave on a Korean. Carpe on the Tracer. So a bit of a shield comp. This is kind of looking like Countdown Cup style. Minus the Hans.
Okay. Prophet playing over at the edge of the tracks here. Slobbing in some rockets, playing at a pretty extreme range here for the time being. Point's going to be unlocked. Everybody going to look to push forward. Oh, Shockwave almost getting picked off, taken very low. Bits will finish off that Immortality field. That's both supports going to be gone. They'll get a very brief lockdown of the point here to the side of the Fusion. Take a bit of a miracle to try to hold on to control of this as Prophet dives into the back, looks to get rid of the Cowboy. Rockets going in, but Prophet actually dies. Anamo gets taken down. He doesn't have his pocket anymore. He falls. Now Tsu is going to die. And in the Fusion, yeah, they lose control, but they can go straight back in and retake this point.
Another situation where Fusion just have so many members alive on low HP and they don't go down. Shockwave on 27, and the final hit couldn't come on in. Carpe finds the kill to Prophet, and Prophet now respawning with nearly a barrage available. The Nano's there as well for Creative, which will most likely, most definitely go over towards Prophet. We talked about the lack of Ashe in our previous matchup versus the Spark. Well, Fitz is currently on that, needs to do a bit of catch-up in terms of damage, but otherwise, Marvel gave them a fight win with a perfect slam on top of Mano that initially got the kills before they eventually had their members down.
Nano Boost goes out on the Prophet, but now he loses his pocket healer. Namo eliminated, great pickup, and Prophet's not going to be able to find any value at all of that Nano Boost. Can't get into a position to barrage, barely built it up at the end. And that's just going to be another volley successfully staved off here as the Fusion. I mean, I still am railing from them being able to win out that last fight and only giving up 8%.
I mean, and now losing Nano as well is unfortunate because that's just going to be one of the opening tools gone. They need Marvel to make a dive happen. Prophet needs to play some sort of off angle. The ability to barrage in. Hopper, I'm sure, will be trying to prevent that damage from really coming on through me. 5 ultimates online. Fusion's ultimate is so good.
Bob goes out, and he goes off the side of the tracks. All right, well, Bob didn't manage to collide with anything or the back wall, so does get taken down. A bit of an overkill as they push in on top of Carpe, get the sleep dart. Almost actually gets the elimination off that alone. Marvel, however, will fall in the meantime. Rally going to expire, but the armor is still there. Self-destruct thrown right in front of him, and Shockwave cannot get around the corner fast enough. To you with a very nice pickup, but is that going to be enough for them to get situated on the point and get this flip back through? On you, it's 96%. Barrage is going to be dropped in. Will find Mono, but Funny Astro finishes off Prophet with a whip shot. Kappa gets right in on top of Fitz. So the DPS duo going to be eliminated. Mortality Field taken down, but there's not really just any damage to be pushed out onto the members of Fusion whatsoever. It seems like 100 to 8% closeout in all likelihood, as Marvel will go down. The OT bleeds away, and they can't get the touch. Fusion off of the back of that one initial flip, a fight that they should not have been able to win, take the first round.
And they never gave it away after that. 8% going the way of Seoul. Straight 0 to 100 from the Philadelphia Fusion afterwards. Shockwave pretty much never went down. Animo got picked a couple times on that Mercy. You see Prophet trying to make a barrage play happen without the Mercy. It's very difficult, probably not going to happen. No success found at all. So, our opening matchup here with Seoul's dive comp Marvel's ball. First fight on the neutral was pretty decent, and as a reminder, Fusion lost every single neutral in that Oasis matchup versus Spark. All 3 submaps. Yeah, they kind of lose one, but no, they actually win it technically speaking, because the fight wasn't over. They pulled it back through despite the cap going by the way. Moving over towards Maker Base, here's what we're talking about. Marvel on the Rhine. That's why you want Marvel here right now for this hero.
All right, well, he's already getting bullied out pretty considerably. Prophet falling low, and actually will just die. Appa finding that kill. Trade it back, though, but, I mean, it's a mech in your May. Just a tank. Fitz will beam down hot, but now Creative and Fitz will fall. Marvel's just desperately trying to kite back fast enough, but he just can't do it. Shockwave finds that elimination. Fusion, yet again, are going to be able to get this first lockdown. It seems like this time around, though, the Dynasty are not going to be in a position to get a fast flip.
Far more convincingly as well. I mean, previously you look at Downtown, you would say, oh, they have to clutch it through to win it. No, they just win it straight up here on Maker Base. Shockwave already onto a photon barrier, about 4% away now. Heaps of damage going on through. Speaking of which, Fitz is trying to do the same thing, but he's walled off.
Yeah, it takes Carpet down to half HP, but he will be able to stay alive. Photon barrier now going to be used. Shockwave got the map in 2. Mono dancing around the side. It gets chunked out to about half HP. Creative gets his Ant Matrix online, but pops it instantly, but Fitz is going to be dead. Shatter gets dropped in. That's going to be both supports now on the ground. Don't manage to find the kills, though. It's going to be Mono traded out. Gives the ult for his life. His life for the ult, rather, I should say. Scratch that, reverse it. Anamo, however, now taken down to the back end. Prophet as well, going to be falling, and Fusion just managing to persevere at every twist and turn. Few gets demeched, gets finished off, and it's going to be a full reset again here for the side of the Dynasty.
And while Marvel's looking for a shatter, they lose Prophet and Animo, I think, and it's just, you're down 2, you're trying to make the shatter happen. Mano lances, even despite the photon barriers in play, and catches Animo and Creative right. You have Philadelphia Fusion slowly pulling on through. Alarm getting a couple frags in there. 65% and counting. This could be a big flex. Catches everybody.
Yeah, sound barrier going to be used by Namo just to try to stay alive through it. Shatter gets dropped in, only finds Shockwave, but Funny Astro's got a beat of his own to go ahead and turn this one around. Get in on top of Fitz, they find the elimination. The blizzard damage will just tick away at Marvel. Gets the kill. 2U with a sliver of HP will be shown a bit of mercy as Funny Astro finishes him off, but a team kill at 84%. The respawn still coming through. Dynasty might just get completely shut out of Busan.
It's looking like an alarm's going to set up for a window here as well. Mano's going to be there to fire strike, and somebody's going to get sniped out of this. 2U better have that Matrix ready to go. TP across. We have to touch at least.
Cap starting to come through, likely just going to be surrendered over for a brief moment. Immortality field eliminated. Shockwave finds Creative on the back end. That's moments before he would have the Amp Matrix available. Funny Astro finds Profit. Oh, you can tell he is very much in his element right now. Moving back over onto the Lucio. 2U dead. The self-destruct won't find anything, and with Fitz gone, that'll be the flip, and that'll be the OT starting to bleed away. Anamo and Creative are both alive, but they cannot get the touch. The OT bleeds down. 8% in the first round, 7% in the second. The Philadelphia Fusion very much warmed up after their first series versus the Hangzhou Spark. Absolutely demolished the Seoul Dynasty in the first map.
215 the overall scoreline there. Smile on Mano's face. A sign of things to come, maybe. Hold that one with bated breath though, because we still have plenty of maps still coming through in Seoul. Okay, I think they might be looking for some changes in the next map. Wouldn't surprise me if Gesture comes back in, assuming Seoul want to play a bit more dive, maybe some Winston stuff as well. Initial map not going their way at all. Even in the mirror, double blizzards coming down, super sound barriers coming down as well. Carpet gets the better of Profit. The battle of these two veterans, two of the most veteran players I think in the entire league, and Carpet wins round number 1.
That he does in fairly convincing fashion. I mean, Profit just pretty much non-existent. It felt like at every twist and turn throughout there, just getting picked off. I mean, when you have a Lucio getting on top of your May and he's finding the elimination, that is not a good look. But Dynasty going to be looking to keep their spirits high. You see some wry smiles still on their faces. They now have map pick in their hands, and we'll see where they want to take us when we come back from the break.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by TeamSpeak, the official voice supplier of the Overwatch League. Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
All right, we are back and just one map into this series, the final series here in the APAC region before the playoffs. This one deciding who is going to be the other representative. I can talk. Words are fine. Representative from the APAC region. Fusion, very convincingly, have started this off with a win on Busan. I mean, what do you say, 200-15 is the end percentage scores there from those 2 rounds that were played. Dynasty just not finding any legs to stand on whatsoever. And yet again, the Fusion, they're keeping up with the musical chairs. We're going to see another substitution as EQO subs in for Shockwave.
This is going to be, you know, in some ways pretty similar to what we saw from our last matchup, and definitely in terms of substitutions. Seoul should not be surprised. You guys should not be surprised. I'm certainly not surprised here. Expect a lot more of these musical chairs to come on through where EQO is going to play now. Maybe next map, Carby gets subbed out for Shockwave. I think of Shockwave EQO together. Maybe it's map dependent, so it will, you know, we'll see what maps we get from this point onwards, but Seoul might want to be at least a little bit worried here. I have faith that Seoul will make a bit of a bounce back. This should be a pretty close series. Absolutely not a 3-0. Look, if it's a 3-0, then I guess one team very, very much drops their spaghetti ball. We answer that question quite quickly if there's going to be a 3-0, but there's a lot more spaghetti to be had. Look, if you're hungry, sit tight, don't worry. You can come back for seconds. A lot of maps to play through.
Yeah, this is like when you go to like a family-style Italian restaurant. They just bring out the spaghetti, and it's just this massive, massive bowl of spaghetti that feeds like 10 people. But yeah, hopefully we've got plenty to munch on here. And I mean, for Fusion fans, yeah, maybe you breathe a little bit of a sigh of relief here. You start off the series 1-0, but for the veteran viewers on the side of the Fusion fandom, I think they might be sweating because they will remember that reverse sweep. So even when you're ahead, you might still be behind. We'll have to just wait and see, though. But they absolutely are firing on all cylinders. You can see that their spirits are very much through the roof right now. For the side of the Dynasty, it's quiet contemplation and preparation as they will be taking us to Hanamura for Assault.
And this is a map that doesn't really favor either side, I don't think. I mean, both teams are very comfortable playing the Brawl, and Hanamura being the map here. I don't think there was a sub, right? So Marvel's still in. That means more Rhine. And again, comfortable position for both teams to play through. EQO being added to the mix gives you a few more options. Sombra is one of them. Echo's back available now as well. Strangely, I don't think we've really seen any Echo play in our last matchup and over the course of all our previous maps today. But now EQO is thinking about it. It's possible. In fact, it is going to be run on the defense here with Funny Astra being the only person that really is going to be healing EQO. Nano is going to be available once more. You can actually Nano hot by Sigma here, so there's a couple options, but EQO should be the one receiving most of the Nanos.
Alrighty, well, things around just a little bit. Profit moves over to the May for just a second at least. We'll see if they want to stick through with it. Scout forward. Get a read, and there's the Symmetra.
There, yeah, that's what I'm thinking. You really want the Sim here to TP across. Hanamura attack on A. Very, very favors Sim plays. So here we go. They're not going to go across the map, just up to the left side, get the rotation, and now they have the entire left flank of the cap. Or do that. They're actually going through mid again. No, I'm getting baited a little bit. No, here we go.
Yeah, I think they're trying to give him a little bit of a run around here. See if they can try to force Mono's position and get him to set up somewhere else. Wall's decent. They can't get that kill, though, but they do force him off, and now they're ticking up. And it's really difficult to recontest against this. Sticky bomb is one of Fitz, but he gets topped up. Yep, another good wall, and this time Mono cannot escape. Everybody piles in on top of the Orisa. They find that elimination. EQO going to be dead on arrivals. He drops down to try to contest. Second tick now going to be snatched up, and it seems like that should just be the end. Very nicely done here from the side of the Seoul Dynasty. A great reply as Anamo going to be realistically the only casualty. He's not going to be split spawned either. He can join in fairly fastly, though, either way.
What a good play from Seoul Dynasty as well. I mean, they just read that situation perfectly. They look at the lineup from Philadelphia Fusion, see that it's going to be quite prone to a Symmetra TP play. Obviously, they don't go TP to the point because it can get destroyed, so they go for a top left TP, which Alarm can't stop. Boom. Suddenly, they have all the position they need for this call.
That
Big
Byron
six-man
all
Byron.
six.
Okay, it slows them down. They still got a kill.
Okay, well, Creative will get traded out. Ant Matrix not going to be able to find too much value. No one realistically able to play around it. And EQO says, oh, look at this. A Reinhardt right in front of me. Thanks for teleporting directly in front of my feet. Gets that elimination. Looks for a little bit of extra ult charge there as Hoppa will find the kill credit for Fitz. And they're going to have to reset and go again.
Okay, maybe I undersold how big the 6-man bonus is. Obviously, it's huge, but my perspective... Well, my perspective was that Seoul could just back out and not commit. So that's why initially I was looking at the 6-man buy like, all right, well, they can just chill for a little bit. Just wait, put the shield up from Marvel, don't commit into it, wait for the bio to go away. Another beautiful wall. Prophet's been landing these time and time again.
Well, another Bionade goes out. This time hits 3. Prophet dead to it. Both tanks going to be slowed up. So that's the Blizzard. They find some picks, but they cannot get onto the point. So Prophet says, okay, we just change it up. Shift over to the Tracer.
I don't know that's a good idea, though, because these walls have given Seoul so many opening plays and is really key to, I think, making a Sim Brawl TP composition work. There we go, the Photon Barrier's out now, but who are they going to focus on? Sound Barrier as well.
Oh, the hold in the Flux is going to be juicy, and the shields are now expiring. Immortality Field will greet them as they hit the ground, but so will a hell of a lot of death. Shadow's going to be dropped in. It finds 1 or 2, and they cannot get any kills off the back end of it. And now it's going to be time for a bit of a swap up here, methinks. The rest of the side of the Dynasty Fit's likely to change as they just get stomped out of existence.
I mean, where are they going to go towards? Okay, yeah, it is going to be the risk. I'm thinking that because I see Creatives got this window available for the next fight. Fitz is over towards the Ashe. The tank that makes the most sense here is the Orisa, but you're now into a kind of Orisa mirror. The fact that Mano's playing one as well. Carpe's already been on the Ashe. He's got the damage boost from Funny Asher as well. Actually, Funny Asher drops off towards the Brig. So I actually kind of prefer the Mercy there. Anyway, this is not necessarily a good move for the Seoul Dynasty because I think their Brawl has a little bit more A, staying power, and B, engage power, especially with both speed boost and a TP.
All right, well, Fitz is just going to die immediately as the Amp Matrix gets used by Creative. Self-destruction to you, only going to find EQO. Arpe just looking to hound down Prophet, but won't get the opportunity. Hotba's there, gets the finishing blow. It's just all of these initiations, just in the blink of an eye, they're over.
EQ on the Genji here as well, which supported by Alarm on the Ana, which means a possible Nano Blade in future. First of all, gives Alarm a very good Nano target, even though I think EQ Echo was already a pretty decent Nano target, rather. But now they can just sort of dive through, cleave the entire team on their approach. A lot of teams, especially on this Orisa, you have to play this top right stairs, right? When you're playing the Sim TP Brawl, you can go anywhere on the map. And now Seoul Dynasty, they're caught, they're stuck having to make this play happen time and time again, or at least attempt to make this play happen.
Okay, well, they're looking to isolate Mono. It seems like they break the wall down fast enough. Nanobu's out on the EQO, and now he's got the blade ready to go. Will just play this out patiently, though. He doesn't want to over-aggress and overstep. Keeps himself played back with the rest of the team, just poking and prodding. Waiting for the next setup, but Carpe just domes Fitz. Takes him right out of the fight. It's still going to be the Amp Matrix utilized here by Creative, but he's going to fall. Mono gets him with the headshots. The Flux use takes him also very low, and now EQO is around the back line, dashes
it's
through.
a cleanup.
And oh man, they are just wiping the floor with the Seoul Dynasty right now. The Fusion looking fantastic on this point B defense.
And the thing is, you go back to the notion of like, well, how do they actually engage here? Because in this Orisa mirror, which now it's going to be a double shield mirror with Hopper and Tuyu both on these Sigmas, right? You have to have Seoul set up a firing line on some part of the map on B, most likely top right side, right? They're not going to be able to go left unless they change over towards A Sim again. Can they go main? Well, they don't have high ground control, so they must go top right to wait up this Bionade. So Alarm's been hitting these time and time again. It's a little hard for Tuyu to stop them when you're not in a Diva, I suppose, but this time at least Seoul Dynasty are not just going to lose all their lives, so they can be patient. And the same thing will repeat itself, because this time when Seoul try and make this top right play, EQO's got the blade, and they're going to Nano Blade into it, and it's going to be really, really good.
I was going to say, you might want to rally right now, and almost going to pop that. They look for a halt off the high ground. They don't manage to pull anybody, though. Carpet just pushing back. But yeah, they've got a nice little bunker set up on the high ground.
It's running out.
Really get them closer to the actual point. Blade now comes in. He's anoed up. Prophet could be the first one to fall. Not to the Genji, but to Mono. And overall, I mean, the Dragon Blade, it doesn't find any kills, but it forces the Dynasty completely back out of the building.
So not the biggest Dragon Blade, but at the same time, like you said, in terms of positioning, Solar reset here. They've lost all precedent to make a move up. The rally is gone, but they have their ultimates coming online, so maybe there's a window of opportunity, especially with Creative's actual window coming online. They basically have to just use all these ultimates just to get this high ground control, bob the point, have some pressure elsewhere on the map. There it is.
Yeah, they get the bomb onto the point. They're looking for the hold, actually pull him onto the low ground. Don't manage to make that work. Mortality field going to be used. That expires. Bob out. QO going to die. Another Bob just going to be situated behind the wall. Blizzard at the ready. It's going to be Prophet lobbing it in the corner over towards the spawn room. Creative going to fall in the immortality field. I guess he wasn't on it. It's killed off after he's already fallen. Prophet now going to be eliminated. Does manage to find alarm from beyond the grave, but it looks like a tick. It's just going to be a far cry hope here for the side of the Seoul Dynasty. The Philadelphia Fusion put their foot down on point B, and they do not allow any percentage gain.
And again, I shake my head a little bit at this as well, as I'm sure Seoul Dynasty is shaking their fist, where I see so little opportunity for Seoul Dynasty to actually make an engage happen. In fact, Seoul admit that by the fact that they put Prophet back on the May. They start with Prophet on towards the Tracer, then they realize this doesn't give us an opening. What was giving an opening was this May, great ice walls, locking out mana, giving you the opportunity to get these kills. But then you've kind of moved off the brawl composition. You actually, one of this kind of rock, paper, scissors comp matchup that's great into double shield is actually the brawl. You do see that a lot when teams want to take down a shield comp. You see the brawl come on through, they get the engage, and Orisa just can't do anything. She sits there and she cannot count. She really can't hold up and hold her own ground versus a brawl. She kind of gets run over. That's kind of the weakness of playing that double shield, right? For Seoul to give that up, to then attempt to slowly move over to a double shield comp. They started with single shield, then they went to the double shield. The Prophet was even on Tracer for a long duration of time as well. It was quite surprising that Seoul wanted to try and get B in that fashion, when in my opinion here is that Orisa's hard to attack with, especially up against a team that is defensively playing Orisa and has far better angles than you, at least to start with. And how many times does Seoul Dynasty get caught by a stray Bionade, or they lose a player on rotation, Carpe just snipes somebody? It just happens almost every single fight. So I think Seoul should have just played brawl, and they're back on the brawl now.
They are.
I'm out of here.
Over the top. Let's go ahead and get the scouting report and look to swap it up. And EQO, he's going straight back over to the Genji yet again. I mean, thinking back, I think he actually debuted on Hanamura at the beginning of his career with the Genji pick. So, definitely targeting back to an age long since past, but Tuyu starts things off on the right foot, but instantly they will lose Fitz. So hit scan for hit scan, going to be traded out. Wall goes up, looking at cut off mono, but he manages to make his way up on top of it. Tuyu now diving into the back, wants to get rid of EQO. Got the May. Oh, but he makes it just over the other side of the wall. He's still going to be in the fight, and now Marvel doesn't have any peel. The D-Matrix is not there to try to keep him alive, so he won't fall down. Prophet finds Funny Astro, but they need to do a hell of a lot more if they want to hold on to this point A defense.
What's Seoul doing? They just gave him Marvel's life for no reason. He's trying to hold the front line, and you're this Ryan, and you're looking like, where's Tuyu? Where's my diva? Why am I not getting any help? Because Tuyu's going to chase EQO for some reason. And now they got a D-Mech here as well. 2 ticks have gone through.
There's nothing to just mitigate this damage that's going to be coming out from Carpe. Gives a nice little wave. His Prophet gets popped out. Manages to make his way out to safety. Marvel will find alarm with the fire strike. He tries to go for the shatter. Drops it down. EQO's gonna fall. Prophet stunned up for just a moment by that accretion, but manages to stay alive, and he nearly has a Blizzard online. It's 98.1%. Funny Astro gonna be taken down. Carpe tries to stay alive. He can't manage to make it happen, and Hopper will drop off the side of the map.
Oh my God.
And by with an absolute miracle, the Seoul Dynasty will hold on to point A.
And I think it starts with the fact that there was that amplification matrix from Creative. Marvel in, swinging his hammer around, finds a shatter. Even if it's only onto one, they secure that kill as well. And Seoul Dynasty have the staying power. They didn't even need to then use the sound barrier. So good recovery, but it was looking very messy. I mean, look at that 98.1%. That was nearly a cap from the Fusion. So it's not going to be a blisteringly fast double cap or anything like that from the Fusion. They would love to hold on to some ults, but they lost EQO here. That's a poor beginning.
Yeah, I'm just going to have to wait and try to maybe reset, but no, they decide to go in with the Flux. That's going to force out the sound barrier. Mortality field as well going to be used. Prophet, before he dies, will get the Blizzard off. Nice accretion hit from Hoppa, though they get the finishing blow and stop any further follow-up, but you can see everybody else pushing forward well beyond the choke point, looking to find some extra staggers so they have more time for Prophet and Marvel to rejoin the fight.
And now you have a play for EQO, but I'm not too sure what the mileage on this play is going to be because you don't have a nano to support it. You're not playing a dive composition, so EQO is going to end up diving in pretty much by himself. It's a very difficult matchup for this Genji, and I hadn't spoken about it just yet, but now's the perfect time This has to work for them. I don't know how much it will. Amplification Matrix comes on through.
Wall going to be used. Deadeye is out. Prophet will find Hotba. Collapse it onto the Sigma. We're going to have to wait for a reset. In all likelihood, yet again, but no, EQO, he draws the blade. Alarm is going to be gone. Funny Astro dead, so EQO is just going to be sitting here, blade in hand with nothing else to do. Mono falling. He will take Prophet down with him, but it's just a matter of time. The final punch will get rid of the Genji. I'm expecting to see maybe another last-minute swap here from EQO, perhaps, but 38 seconds remaining, starting from 2 ticks. They need to get this cap.
Yeah, they'll go over towards Echo now. I mean, Fire would have been an option, but you don't have time for... Do you really want to swap Funny Astro off now? You probably should have played the Fire to start with. That's kind of what you have to think about, but Echo's going to be the next best option without changing anything else. No ultimates online for Seoul just yet, so there's maybe a window here. We'll have to drop that through.
Marvel, he moves out of the Immortality field. He's going to be taken down. EQO finds the opening pick, but gives his life for it. Anamo gets on top of him, finishes him off with that right-click boop. Flux going to be used. Full spits up into the air, drops him back down. Sliver of HP remaining here on the Cowboy. He rolls forward, trying to get up into Hotpa's face. Meanwhile, back on the point, the contention is coming through. Hoppa kills himself off, actually. His primary fire eliminates him. Mono and Funny Astro now going to fall. The Blizzard buying time. Marvel rolls back in, manages to find 2. That is a team kill. That is the OT bleeding away, and that is a tied up set. 1-1 as the Dynasty close out a full hold on point A.
And that is exactly both teams debating their fan base as well. Seoul looking disappointed on their attack for that B phase. Fusion looking absolutely dominant. And you start to believe, you're thinking, oh man, this is going to be a 2-0. I think Fusion got this. They got in the bag. We have this match point here. We're going to the playoffs, baby. And then that A full hold happens from the Seoul Dynasty, and Fusion cannot get it across the line. They got 98.1, and Seoul clutched up. It was that one clutch fight, Achilles. When they came back in, Creative drops that Amplification Matrix. Marvel gets a solo shatter, but it's enough. And after that moment, Fusion could then never again get a foothold on. The Blade was always going to be pretty bad considering the matchup. The Echo comes in far too late, and Fusion don't have the resources.
Unbelievable recovery from the Seoul Dynasty. They persevere. They manage to hold on to the point the whole way through. They tie us up 1-1. It's going to be map pick now for the side of the Philadelphia Fusion. We'll see where they decide to take us for hybrid when we come back from the break.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by TeamSpeak, the official voice supplier of the Overwatch League. Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
All right, we are back, and we are all tied up 1-1. Busan going the way of the Philadelphia Fusion, but Seoul Dynasty pick up a win on their map pick of Hanamura. An incredible first hold there at point A against the Philadelphia Fusion. Just nuts play from the side of the Seoul Dynasty at the end. Fitz clutching it up. It was just some wonderful stuff happening there. So if you just tuned in, you might have missed potentially the best map, or at least the best round that we'll have in this entire series. But I hope that is not a correct statement. Hopefully they've got more of that for us here today, because now we're going to get ready to go into Nimbani, the map pick for Hybrid from the side of the Fusion.
I got to say as well, now looking at Hanamura, I think Busan was just a starter. That wasn't the real spaghetti bowl just yet. That was like, your breadsticks out there. No, I'm not talking about the Vancouver Titans. I'm just talking about what we're just warming up with. The pasta, the spaghetti's still being served. It's still in the kitchen, still cooking. Yeah, it arrived. It arrived big time on Hanamura, because there was some real spaghetti being dropped. Like I sort of mentioned, the entire B compositional swap from Seoul to me was some massive drop in spaghetti. I did not agree with that at all. We then looked over towards A. That initial A defense with 2 just abandons Marvel, looking like some plat ranked where your off tank just flies away and you're like, hello, can I get some help? And Marvel dies. It like walks out of his immortality field as well. And then you have that clutch coming on through where like it looks like Fusion should win, but then they drop spaghetti too, and the Seoul come in and Marvel gets 2 kills. And I went back and watched, it was a 5v6 because 2 got demeched at the start of that fight, and still Seoul won that. So, my goodness, did the spaghetti arrive big time. It all came all at once.
I mean, it was basically that entire fight just decided by a fraction of a second, because I fully thought in the moment that shatter got canceled there for Marvel. I thought that he had lost it, but he actually manages to get the shatter off, barely gets the lockdown there onto EQO, and they set up the kills from there. So it was a wonderful comeback from the side of the Seoul Dynasty. But now we have to see how they're going to fare on a Fusion's map pick. As mentioned, we will be getting ready to jump into Nimbani. We'll get that up on your screens in just a moment and see who is going to be able to take a step forward here.
Yeah.
Move up to match point, or if we have a draw, why not?
I just speak into existence. I'm pretty sure here as well, we actually have not had a single substitution. And Fusion in our previous matchup was substituting like every single map. I personally expected Seoul to maybe look over towards Gesture at some point, but
we had the one flip for Fusion, bringing EQO in.
Yeah, but for this map, they've stayed the course. Yes. So has Seoul, and Seoul are potentially even looking to play Marvel on the Winston. So I guess Gesture's just not going to play at all. So anyone looking for the playoff Seoul version where Gesture comes out of the Roadhog, nope, not going to happen. You're probably a good thing that he doesn't come out of the Roadhog. I know Roadhog got buffed, but not buffed enough that he'll see game time. So Seoul Dynasty will be looking towards possibly a ball dive. Obviously, the scouting report is going to be the most important thing here. They will discover that Philadelphia Fusion are playing their own ball dive. Seoul can definitely match this. Brawl might not be the best option. We'll see how they go.
Just checking things out. Marvel rolls all the way on to the point before seeing a single soul. We'll go back and let's see what the swap-up's going to be. Yeah, Winston, okay. Yes. It was an unintentional pun.
No, okay.
Okay, here we go with this again.
It's got Prophet on the Tor. Okay.
Yep.
So they have opted for like one of the more hardcore anti-dive comps you can play. Whenever you see Tor, by the way, it's definitely quite a bit of an anti-dive. You got the double stuns coming from Fitz and Animo here as well. The immortality from Creative, so they still have to push. The problem with this anti-dive is you still have to be in position to set yourself up on the high ground before your comp can really come online.
Carpe sticking around from the back. Just to deal with the turret though. Prophet's there to keep that thing topped up, so flank angle covered for the most part. Continue to keep pressure and keep eyes on the enemy Tracer. Still decent poking though, but Alarm going to fall. Creative finds that first kill. Is that going to be enough for them to get themselves onto the point? Right now, it is. So we'll be given at least a tick, as they have to wait for this healing to come back in. Kyo pushes forward, starts contesting it. Oh no! Oh, it's the slow slide of despair. Anomal sends Astral off the side, and he just cannot get back on the point. He cannot get back on the side. Huge pickup there for the side of the Seoul Dynasty, and that is going to help net them this first lockdown here on point A. Nearly 5 minutes in the time bank. Absolutely massive for the Dynasty.
That's a funny Astro death off the side there is exactly what every single Philadelphia Fusion fan felt on Hanamura as they slowly
That's
lost
their hopes and dreams.
And their hopes and dreams as they realized they weren't going to win Hanamura. But maybe with a bit of a reset here, Hopper going over towards Sigma, things can change, okay? All Sigma is a legit comp. Carpe over towards the Hangzhou, obviously to try and counter Marvel. And guess what? Prophet say, let's go, baby. I'm going to go this as well. Difference here will also be the fact that Creative has the Ant Matrix available, so expect a lot of damage from Fitz and Prophet when this gets dropped down.
Yeah, some football action for the side of the Fusion. Thrown out the Recon. It's the word that everybody's piled indoors. Mono taking just a little bit of damage there, smattering of it from those storm arrows. Oh, EQO, he's right up in front of him, and that is a huge EMP. 5-man hack, looking for the kills now, though. Fitz going to be falling low. Tuyu going to be knocked out of the mech by the minefield. Will get finished off by Alarm. Fitz falling to the storm arrows. Rally's rolling from an ammo, but is that going to be an overstep from him? He's completely surrounded, will get cut down. Prophet's only able to find one. As Carpe finds multiple in the fight. Cleanup was going to be good, and that's going to be cart control now. Wrested away from the Dynasty.
Double support ultimates needed to be spent by the Philadelphia Fusion. They were very desperate to try and win that fight for good reason. They don't want to get beat capped. They don't want to have this momentum and snowball from Seoul Dynasty carried through the sea. Now, I have to look over towards only Dragon Strike being the available ultimate here. Not the highest value. Prophet matches it on the other side as well. What they did do is prevent the window from Creative from finding value. Obviously, EQO hit one of the bigger EMPs that we've seen today. So now, as Fusion are waiting for more ultimates to come through, they have to look for counter trades here. Where's the Dragon from Carpe?
Okay, well, Dragon from Prophet, decent, gets some damage in. Now it's going to be a self-destruct over the top from 2U. Or is it right at main? And that zones him back enough for the cart to actually slide into point B. Pile driver from Mono will find Creative, but he says, I don't really mind too much. We're playing the cart still, and I've got the closer spawn now. Cleanup is going to be good as Fitz nails his last couple shots. Still 4 minutes strong on the time bank for the final stretch. Seoul Dynasty looking alive.
And now, you know, Fusion are like, oh, okay, we'll play the same comp as you. You want to play some shield stuff? We'll go double shield here. We're going to dig our heals in even further than that. And Carpe's Dragon Strike, you got to play that early. When Prophet strikes, you have to counter Dragon Strike almost immediately. With Alarm down here, that is deadly. Arrow through the window, I think.
Either way, it was a headshot, so it would have been dead all the same. As Prophet just plays around the flank, looking to get some more arrows in. Really has yet another Dragon Strike available. Arrow to scout the right side. This spam shot's not really connecting, but as I say it, he finds EQO. I think EQO might have actually been in stealth as well. He's just exiting the spawn room. Dragon Strike will cut off Mono. He can't try to pull back, but he actually needs to play forward all the same because he needs to continue contesting the cart. He's the only one realistically that can stay situated right there at the moment. But Fitz gets right up into his face. Flashbang in, they fan the hammer. The EMP from EQO somehow this time only finds one, as Fitz will find two on the back end of the fight, and they will glide into the box of victory with 3 minutes and 3 seconds remaining.
That is the god arrow from Prophet. That headshot onto EQO secures them the entire fight and the point. Just that one arrow. You get rid of the Sombra, there's no more EMP. That was what Fusion were holding all their hopes and that defense on. It was one EMP. EQO comes in, drops a big EMP, boom. That fight goes the way of Fusion. Seoul have to reset. Time starts getting quite low. Fusion have full, you know, C control. It's quite hard to push into, and then bam. Maybe they complete the entire, you know, defense on C, or what remains of it. But, oh my god, Prophet finds the most disgustingly good arrow. And like you said, it might have just been random RNG as well. Because he looked like he was aiming somewhere else. He was aiming at another player, just aiming at the entrance. And EQO happens to be there. Did you know, by the way, I don't know, you might remember this, but the last time we were here for Spaghetti Bowl, the original one, for the Countdown Cup qualifiers, there was that creative sleep dart that was aimed towards, I believe, Carpe, and it hits EQO's Sombra instead, and they kill it. That reminds me of that same moment again. And it happens to EQO again. God, that's so unlucky.
I mean, either way, just absolutely incredible, and very much the game changer there. Dynamite not going to find too much. As they just look to scout ahead. Mono TPing back. Just see the swap over to the Orisa.
You can see, by the way, Seoul's comp is very flexible. So what they're running covers kind of all bases here. You're not going to run a fire into Ash Echo. You know, it's a composition where, you know, Nano's on Marvel, just gonna be good. It's a good win condition. A lot of options here versus most comps that Philadelphia Fusion can go if they want to go shields. Okay, you can dive into with Marvel, farm up some stuff there. So the answer is going to be a very similar comp in terms of the Winston dive, but with then the Genji instead of the Echo.
Carpe instantly trying to go on a bit of a flank mission here. Only sees Creative, who actually just nails 3 members with an anti-nade. Just slowing him up. As Fitz continues to play on the low ground right here at main. Jumps away, avoids the dive, very nicely done. Good positioning from him. Instantly pokes out, he's looking for alarm, forces that Bionade to be used just to keep himself up. The Bob is nearly upon us. Zappa's going to be demeched. Fix there now without the damage mitigation ready to go. They just have to pull back, and EQO says, okay, yeah, Genji's not going to be it. I have to swap this up. Goes for the Soul.
Look at the difference in Alarm and Creative, though. When Alarm got his nano boost, as they were losing the fight, I believe Hopper dies, and then just as he dies, Alarm gets a nano boost, so there's no way they were going to nano in that last fight. Creative was only about 50%, so Creative's caught up by another 30 now. The question will be, can Creative then gap the last 20% to match Alarm, because this is going to be a Winston Nano dive, and I'm not sure that Seoul can do anything to counter just yet. I suppose Bob is going to be available. That's a good hack as well.
Yeah, gets the hack onto Creative, but he can't really play in a position to actually push too much damage in onto the enemy Ana. Marvel's going to pop the Primal Rage, just get antied, but he's going to be all right. He's still looking to knock them off the side of the map. He's chunked down to about half HP, drops back down. Is that hit going to be good enough? Not quite. Do manage to stay here on the side of the map. Sound barrier now used. Funny Astro shielding up his team. Prophet falling low. Goes for the dupe. Copies Mono. Mono's going to be the first casualty as 2U manages to find that elimination. Headshot's good. Funny Astro's out of the fight. A hack on the Marvel doesn't find too much. Prophet goes in. Now it's going to be a second Primal Rage that they have to deal with. A second Winston. Just gets one. Leaps back out. Fight is won, though. A minute and a half remaining. The side of the Philadelphia Fusion is Dynasty. They very well could have back-to-back full holds.
I mean, Valiant full held Fusion here, so, you know, anything can happen.
That's
right. I had to bring that up. I had to bring that up. You know, it's a little bit spicy here. Seoul Dynasty. Prophet is going to be untouched here. Like, what on Philadelphia Fusion's composition is going to target and control Prophet? The entire back line is actually safe. Animo took no damage here. The one member you have to kill is Creative, and he's just dominating QO. So now it's a 5v6. Nano's in play. At least they got a trade.
Okay, but they managed to find Marvel, though. Crucial pickup that gets them a little bit of space, and now they can try to play in onto the point. 2U, however, looking to disrupt, throws out the self-destruct. It's not going to be able to catch Funny Astro. He hides back by the Mega Pack, and the point is still being contested by the Bob for now. Bob will make his exit, self-destruct to the back, will find Creative. Nice pickup, but Anamo, he's got the Valkyrie popped. He might be able to get over there to try to bring him back into this fight. Seems like the answer's going to be no. The corpse is just a little bit too well protected, so they cannot get that Ana back in. Second tick now going to be grabbed. You can see the Dynasty starting to play back. They will forego the full hold dream. Allow this cap to come through because they know, you know what? We're still going to have a time bank advantage pretty much no matter what the Fusion do from here on out.
Yeah.
See if they can hold him at B.
Every Fusion watcher just had a combined sigh of relief. They're like, oh, thank God we got past A. We're going to move forward to B now as EQ has an EMP available. And taking down Fitz's Ash and Creator's Ana is ideal. That's, again, you're not going to touch Prophet. You can get those two, though. EMP catches two on the back.
Yeah, Bionade out into both supports, but neither is going to get focus fired. Instead, it's going to be 2U who does get traded out. Marvel goes in. Primal Rage popped. He's looking to get a corner onto somebody, but can't find too many targets. But right at the end of it, does manage to find Alarm before the ult expires. Hoppa going to be demeched, finished off by Fitz. This little pickup now is Prophet. Just plays back behind the bus. Duplicate at the ready in case he needs to quickly keep himself safe.
Oh, that's a big pickup, though. 5v6 now.
I don't know why
you play the Nano here. Creative's on very critical HP. He's down.
That's both supports now eliminated. Yeah, I mean, Marvel playing way too far forward. He was down to about half HP. I'm not sure why he was still trying to play in that position. We didn't have the leap, so couldn't get out to safety. But either way, those 3 kills mean that Fusion get point B.
Could have been miscommunication on the Nano. Maybe Creative said he was close to it, and Marvel just assumed it was going to be there. Didn't come through, didn't happen. And now, We're over towards C, and look, okay, time-wise, obviously Fusion cannot match Seoul Dynasty's 303. They can still cap above 1 minute. That has got to be the goal, because if we cap below 1 minute, we're looking at a draw. You can't wait until that. Nano's available for both sides here. Alarm's probably going to be used onto EQO.
Nano's out, Marvel's in. Moves up to zapping away, trying to get this next Primal online. Prophet goes out with a dupe. Copies hot, but gets the Diva. He's trying to get that self-destruct online, but it's a very slow build. He hasn't had the most impact when it comes down to this duplicate, so doesn't have that ready to go. Deadeye going to be insta-canceled there by Carpe. Oh, that's just been used for the reload. Hard to say, but yeah, Fit's going to be eliminated, but he still holds on to the EMP for a final fight. Supercharger, however, slapped down. Mono looking to help escort them forward. Now Marvel's going to be dead. Can they even just contest this to you? Not going to get pulled off the cart here. Does manage to play forward, but somebody else has to get there. Fitz arrives. The EMP is going to hit 5, but again, hooray, it means nothing. They finish the map. That's 2 minutes here in the time bank for the side of the Fusion.
Second time today said that we've had the hooray EMP. As the 6-man comes through right at the end.
Both of them against the Fusion.
Be, exactly, both of us just like Fusion being like, all right, as you needed to see Fitz drop this EMP early. He obviously got found on the high ground over around the second corner there. Seoul Dynasty ran him through, well, what did we have? We had EQO just teleporting onto the high ground, running at Fitz. Doesn't care if the EMP goes on the high ground. Obviously, he then dies. If the EMP does not go into a fight for Seoul, as Fusion are pushing the payload, you're not going to find a good fight. Because the end of that ended up being you lose Fitz and Prophet, your two most important players there. And then the rest of the Seoul Dynasty are one by one, slowly dying on the payload. Marvel did not have Primal. He was, I think, about 11% off, something in that range. TU then jumps on the payload, dies. Animo Creative jump on and die, and then Fitz does the hooray EMP to no avail as Philadelphia Fusion struggled on A. And now when I go back, you know, we go back to what I said and said, Fusion fans have got this collective sigh of relief, like, thank God we got past A. Like, yeah, thank God you got past A, because the rest of the map seemed pretty easy. It was A that was the problem.
Yeah, absolutely. Just kind of rolled it from there. I mean, you know, one mistake bleeds into multiple for the side of the Seoul Dynasty, and they can't find that stability ever again for that defense. So now we go into extra innings, starting things off the Fusion with their 2-minute time bank. Let's see what they can get done. It's going to be EQO back on the Reaper. Carpe still going for some shooty bang bang. Making their way around the left side as Alarm takes quite a bit of damage from Prophet sticky bombs.
Will be transferred over towards his own healing here for 32%. High ground being found. Mono chucked down. They've got to be careful about that.
You know, almost into beamable range there from Prophet. But speaking of Prophet, Carpe finds the elimination. Takes him down. The res is going to be used, but Anamo committed to resing him before Marvel had fallen. Might have been in a precarious spot, so maybe they wouldn't have been able to get the Winston back in the fight all the same, but they do find Alarm, but Creative now going to be traded out. Carpe taken down. Fitz gets the headshot onto the Baby Diva. Mono will eliminate him. The cap nearly there for the side of the Fusion, but it seems like it's going to take another attempt if they want to get this one locked down. The Seoul Dynasty do barely manage to persevere.
Yeah. I really like the adaptation from Fusion here because you looked at the Fusion A attack previously and it wasn't going well. This time it's gone much better. They already had the 88.9. Okay, they didn't cap, but the win conditions are clear. The counters are there as well. The EQO Reaper is very important because they know that Marvel's onto a Winston, so they're trying to punish that dive. And finally, because Carpe's on a hit scan, they have some counter pressure versus Prophet's Echo as well. That was missing last time.
Right back into the fight. And Matrix going to be used as Carpe gets what it fits moments after he calls the Bob out to the point. Yeah, Bob is not going to last very long at all when you've got that Amp Matrix set up on the high ground. Bob going to be taken out. Some stun there seen for just a moment as EQO gets on top of Creative, finds that kill. Prophet takes takes Prophet out of the dupe and then instantly shuts down Prophet and Anamo. The Deadeye, absolutely massive, finishes off 2U with the flashbang. And that is the cap now on to A. What's going to happen though as the OT comes in. Now they have to stay glued to this card.
I think that's already been enough. Any distance they get on B now is going to be a bonus. Seoul Dynasty have to really pull up their straps. Stop this with whatever they can. It's just a self-destruct. They're going to have to just go with the self-destruct. They can't allow this payload to get too much free distance. And I think Philadelphia Fusion still have a bit of momentum behind them. Carpe's gone Widow for some reason. I don't know what he's expecting here. He has to know that there's not going to be an Echo anymore, and maybe it's even going to be a flanking Widow. It's just very interesting.
I mean, the Widowmaker, it feels like it's like his safety blanket. He feels at home with it, makes him calm. He goes for it. We'll see if this comes back to bite them in the rear or if it's going to pay off. Self-destruct going to be used. Doesn't find anything. They just go ahead and block it with a barrier. Answering self-destruct comes out. Everybody ducks inside. Now they're looking to play around the backside of this cart. Here's EQO on a bit of a flank angle. Comes jumping in. Drops down. Won't manage to find a kill. Carpe actually got an ammo, but they do take out EQO, but now they lose creative. There's no supports in the fight, and now they're losing out on their tank. And it was used on the Prophet. They push forward into point B. No one was contesting the card at all. Now Prophet is dead, and things are absolutely unraveling for the side of the Seoul Dynasty.
Oh my god, they're just taking turns, throwing and dropping the spaghetti ball, and now it's Seoul's turn. They just got it all over the floor. They can't do this defense anymore. Even if they win the defense now, 2 caps have been taking in the time bank. Okay, here we go. Hopper's back into Mad. Carpe still on the Widow for now to get that one kill to Animo like you mentioned, but I'm still questioning whether this is going to have long-term value.
Bob comes out. They deal with the bomb rather quickly, but Carpe going to be eliminated. EQO goes down. Funny Astro as well. Seems like this should be the end of the line for the side of the Fusion, but this line was drawn so much further back than you would have anticipated. They stop it, but it's at the final corner of the map, Avril. A huge push from the side of the Fusion. For just starting with 2 minutes, they get the cap on A when overtime was getting ready to come in. They should have never made it this far.
I would have been happy with Fusion just getting like a 98% on A. Maybe a cap that gets very quickly stopped. I think for most teams that would be the expectation, right? You've only got 2 minutes to play with. Numbani is very A defensive favored anyway. So even capping Numbani A with the 2-minute time bank is, well, can be quite rough. But they don't just get that. And this goes back to what we were talking about earlier. A seems to be the problem. It's the other points that are fine. I mean, you get past A and Fusion are on a roll. B was pretty clean, very breezy. They get it done. Cap comes through with no contest from Seoul. They forgot about it. Maybe, you know, maybe they just got unlucky and somebody died and no one got the further touch. They were too focused on trying to get some other kills, fights on the flanks, etc. And then whatever distance they got in C, like I mentioned, was just gonna be extra. It's bonus. B was already bonus, so we're talking about double bonus here. We got a lot of bonuses on the side of the Fusion, and Seoul, oh my, they have got so much work to do ahead of them.
I mean, yeah, that they do. It's not really a way to overstate the arduous task that is in front of the Dynasty right now. They scout forward. Can they get a read as far as what is being piloted? Oh, Marvel's just gonna get farmed. He's just gonna die. He's trying to go on the scouting mission, but they just shut him down.
Because he did the same thing as last time. And Fusion are like, all right, he's doing some scouting, cool. And now they know, all right, Marvel's probably doing the same thing. Let's actually take him down. He gets stunned up, taken away. And that's just a lot of HP being generated into ultimates. Marvel goes over towards the Arrestor for the double shield, cool. But at the expense of a little bit of time lost and ults gain on the back end. 2 minutes 20 now. So by the time they actually get their push going, they've got about as much time as the Fusion have.
Prophet just trying to force Carpe's position. So they make their way around the left side. EQO falling down about half HP. Decides to actually push the issue. Gets up in front of their faces. Considerable amount of damage is being pushed out. Prophet will find an opening kill. Funny Astro could be the first one to fall. Mortality field used. Trying to get on top of Mono. Shield timing is going to be good from him. The barrier blocks the sticky bombs. Keeps himself safe for a bit longer. Carpe rounds the back. Gets a great headshot instantly on to Carpe. Beams down EQO. Huge opening now for Prophet. Just looking for a little bit more. The tanks are still alive here from the side of the Fusion. They have some staying power. There's an Amp Matrix out from Alarm as well. He's looking to escort them back out onto the point. They contest it. 0.3% left to go with these final kills coming in. That will be point A going over to the side of the Seoul Dynasty. They've got a decent amount of time to play with here. 1 minute and 20 seconds before OT kicks in.
A lot of respect being shown there by the Seoul Dynasty as well. They're popping the extra Amp Matrix because they can't afford for that fight to go awry. So 100% guarantee that they were going to win. I think they were ahead anyway, and there was maybe a bit of an argument to make where you could have held on to it. Obviously, the big argument to make for holding on to ults is you need to snowball heavily through B and then into C to really contest, because there's not a lot of time. Sure, they have a little bit more time than the Philadelphia Fusion did, but they still can't afford to lose fights, because they lose fights, we're instantly into the OT. They have only one shot at this.
Need to get as much distance as they possibly can here. Mortality field Denies kills from the Flux. Wyatt a bit of damage pushed out onto Alarm. He's still under a little bit of fire, but it seems like Funny Astro should be able to stabilize him. Prophet building up a fairly rapid Flux as well, but Dew is going to be interrupted out of it though. It's a final accretion stun there onto Mono for just a brief moment as Fitz comes around the corner, finds Carpe, and EQO is gone. DPS duo eliminated as Fitz is just flanking like an animal. Comes up with another kill on Alarm, and with still time in the bank, the Dynasty will manage to make it into point B. 10 seconds to spare. Now they have to stay glued to this card. Is there any way to separate them from this?
Okay. Seoul have to clutch up big time because they ran out of ultimates. They spent everything to get the speed cap. They didn't get it for free like the Fusion did, and now Fusion have ults. They have 4 ultimates coming online. This is very heavily Fusion favored. If there is a time to hold on to your spaghetti, Fusion, it is right now because the map win is right ahead of you. You have so much to use here. Seoul have nothing. Seoul would have to clutch big.
Huge amount of damage. Marvel is in desperate need of some assistance. EQO goes in, gets the duplicate out, takes down one. Mortality field now gone. Prophet off. Somebody's got to touch the cart, and they cannot make it there in time. And the Philadelphia Fusion. Ooh, they give up so much distance, but they manage to win it in OT. They take Numbani, their map pick, and they will take a lead. 2-1 now in this series. Match point for them to punch their ticket into the playoffs. If they could just win one more.
Yep. Philadelphia Fusion, they got up from the table, went up for seconds there, loaded up their plate, looked a little bit wobbly on the way back, nearly tripped over, nearly let that plate fall, but they make it back to the table, and now they get to have their round number 2. The second map on board there. The Seoul Dynasty got it real close, man, like right up to the final push on towards C. So many things could have gone differently there, and I think if you're Seoul right now, you got to look back at B and say, man, we needed to contest. That is crazy that we let that B cap go. So, Philadelphia Fusion, match point now, 1 map away from making the playoffs.
The pressure mounting here for the side of the Seoul Dynasty. Granted, they do have their map pick, but they absolutely need to make it count, much like we saw them do on Hanamura. We'll find out if they can do that. We'll find out what map we're going to when we come back from the break. Match point here for the Fusion, so don't go anywhere, guys. You do not want to miss this conclusion. Alrighty, we are back. And oh boy, what a series this has been. Philadelphia Fusion making such an incredible run at the end of Nimbani in extra innings. Almost go to the end of the map in overtime. Seoul Dynasty, so very close, yet still so very far from being able to best them. They end up losing on Fusion's map pick. Now they get one of their own as we get ready to go into Escort, but it's a must win for the side of the Seoul Dynasty if they want to extend this series and keep their hopes alive for going to the playoffs.
Now, look, I had a lot of faith that this was going to at least be a map 4. We're going to get the map 4 now. Question now becomes, can we get a map 5? Is there going to be a 5th map where we're going to go the full distance or not? Shockwave comes in for EQO. So that's going to be another thing that has happened on the Fusion side of things. We have not so far had a Carpe substitution where he's out and Shockwave's in. That happened versus Spark. Here, Carpe's riding out. He's like, if I'm going up against Prophet, you're keeping me in the whole way. Carpe versus Prophet. One of the best player versus player rivalries. Both players, I think Prophet was the first to hit 10k elims, but Carpe was second. The first 2 players in league history to hit 10,000 eliminations. And I believe, still to date, the only 2 players to have gotten over 5,000 final blows. So Fled is close. I think Fled is on like 4,900, but only Carpe and Prophet have exceeded 5,000 final blows. So these are 2 players that have been here the longest, have done some of the most. So, I mean, those 1v funds have been fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, they're 2 just absolute legends, and now there's, you know, one of the younger players that we have in Shockwave coming in alongside Carpe yet again, looking to take the victory here. I will go ahead and spoil it. The Seoul Dynasty, with their map pick of Escort, are taking us to Dorado. So, not too shocking to see Carpe and Shockwave be the lineup here that they're deciding to go with. Double hit scan possibilities through the roof for Dorado, which is a map with some very long sight lines, so could just be seeing a lot of that come in.
We haven't seen Dorado in a long time. I'm trying to think about when the last time Dorado was in the pool and we casted it. Melee? Maybe?
Yeah, maybe.
It's been
I don't know.
That's what it seems like to me. Because we've had Junkertown, Savannahs, Rialtos, all of that, but Dorado being back in the mix now. And I'm racking my brain trying to remember what was even played in. No, I think it was actually June Joust, because remember, Leave had that legitimate 6k on Echo, and I think that was in June Joust. So either way, it's been some time, and Dorado was a big map, obviously for Echo, just brought that up. But you mentioned double hit scan can be an option here. Obviously, Shockwave coming in is a big proponent of that, or it could just be like a Tracer Ash, with Shockwave obviously on Ash, Carpe over towards the Tracer. That seems to be an option that Fusion have been running lately. I think when you bring in Shockwave, though, my first instinct is to say that he's going to be either on like a Widow or an Ash, most likely an Ash.
Yeah, well, for the side of the Dynasty, though, no changes to be had, so Gesture still going to be absent. Seems like they've been having the most success with this. I mean, Marvel, for the most part, has been playing pretty damn well throughout the series so far. So it doesn't make sense to really change it up if it's not broken. So Shockwave will take his seat yet again as we get ready to hop into game. Fusion, a map win here. If they can just best the Dynasty on their map pick, they will punch their ticket into the playoffs. That pressure
so close
can be a lot to try to cope with in the moment. So make sure to be showing showing some love for your respective team in the chat right now. I don't know. Grip. I was trying to make a spaghetti reference with the Dynasty. I was gonna say like, grip this bowl to cheer for Seoul. I don't know. Just hope they don't drop the spaghetti.
Because you don't want to drop the bowl.
Exactly. So grip the bowl to cheer for Seoul. I don't really have
How much room you guys got
prepared
left?
for Fusion, but
I hope no one's full yet, because there's plenty of spaghetti left to be served up. You better be ready. Get some space out there. A couple of burps out the way, you know. Give you like a 5-10 minute break. Just sit there. Take a bit of a breather. More spaghetti on the way here. Let's take a look at opening lineups in terms of comps. So you have Tracer Ash as expected for Philadelphia Fusion. Seoul Dynasty still waiting. Don't mind the Hangzhou. That's for scouting purposes. As, I mean, we'll just go over towards the sim anyway, so it doesn't even use the Hangzhou for scouting. I kind of hope TU doesn't play Zara. I had already my explanation of why I think that is in our last matchup. Also, I mean, if you remember the prior Spaghetti Bowl that was in the Countdown Cup knockouts, you had this 2U versus Hopper kind of Zarya matchup, which Hopper won quite convincingly. But it does seem like Seoul now want to move through with double bubble. Echo is back in and on the menu also.
Well, Fitz going to be forced to translocate fairly quickly there. It still is a bit risky to run this Echo against Shockwave's Ash, so Prophet going to have to be very mindful of his positioning here. Looks like right now he might be setting up for a fairly long flank around that left side, but as the dive comes in, Marvel going to get dropped. Alarm finds that opening kill, and Fitz has to try to exit. Shockwave still kills him.
That is a crazy flick from Shockwave. Just a 90-degree angle. Collects Fitz. And by the way, the read to even go downstairs to go for Fitz, and now gets Animo down as well. Shockwave's come in and really... It's both been shocking and... some waves shocking in the good kind of way. I mean, Solo getting shocked currently. And it's not even Prophet getting taken down. Fitz has had no impact. He's just been bullied.
All right, well, slow start here for the side of the Dynasty. Very much a polar opposite from what we were seeing on Numbani. They were able to just storm into point A with that cap, but getting the cart moving right now proving to be a bit difficult. Marvel just going for these short little leaps, trying to get that Primal Rage up. Barely makes an exit. Creative surges up nearly with that Nano available. Now has it. You can use that for an engage to try to get them off this high ground, but there's so much staying power for the Fusion.
This payload positioning is really awful for Seoul as well. They've just barely been able to do anything with that. They're pushing up now. Marvel finding us a Nano.
Out. Doesn't manage to find anything. TU barely stays alive as Prophet will come up with two. Alarm and Shockwave both going to be eliminated. Marvel in the back with the Primal Rage, jumps up top, and he is just sending Bono sailing across the map. They get the eliminations. That's going to be an effective team wipe here as Carpe is the last one standing, and the cart will get finished off in the end. The cart can finally start moving forward, but there's plenty of time for a recontest here for the Fusion.
It's been over 2 minutes of this payload not even getting towards the archway. One of the things about the attack on Dorado as well is you can actually force the defense into a weird spot by getting enough payload distance such that once it gets to the archway, Fusion can't just hold the high ground anymore with their double shield compositions, with Hopper getting Prophet down and the window being played. This is looking great for the Fusion, even with Shockwave down.
Well, now they have to worry about the EMP. Fitz has that. Bionade hits on the two. Carpe and Hopper both going to be slowed up. EMP comes out, manages to find 3 members, Hopper being one of them, so now cannot try to go for the flux. Tuyu will just press forward, claims 2 for himself, and he is just 100 energy. That is a terrifying Zarya. This is very much the inverse of what we saw during the Hangzhou series. Tuyu looking very scary as they will get the cap here on point A. 3.5 minutes in the time bank for them, so not the greatest push in the world, but it's a push all the same.
It's an EMP that comes in before Funny Astra has the rally as well, so importantly, it has the staying power with Hopper down nice and early. There's no opportunity for the flux. And so that's going to be Fusion losing their entire tank line to the EMP with not a lot of ability to keep them going. But now that the EMP is out of the way, there's opportunity for Mato or just kill Prophet via Shockwave, and then I was going to say use the ultimates, but maybe they don't need them.
Oh, and now it's a bit of a precarious spot to be in if you're on the side of the Seoul Dynasty. Immortality Field's going to be taken out. Flux drags him up into the air for just a moment there. Marvel trying to stay alive. Will manage to get on top of Shockwave. Takes one down with him. Those fall the same, and now Creative and Drama will be getting it picked off. Carpe coming up with 2. Still low at HP, but he wants to get rid of Tuyu's energy. He's trying to get that reset. Oh, Tuyu actually finishes himself in the end.
Why did he right-click? What is he possibly shooting at?
I think he was trying to, I don't know.
Because to shoot yourself, you'd have to either hit the wall or the ground, and there's no reason to do either of those. I'm very confused by that. It looked like Tuyu nearly got out alive, and like you said, trying to preserve the energy, now losing the energy. He was on 100 energy not that long ago. Now the end point of A, it's all been wasted now. Is grab's going to be hard. How do you play this grab right now? You need to force Fusion to come down from the high ground. You certainly can't grab the high ground. You need to either rotate your whole team up or somehow, again, force the Fusion down. It seems like very hard to do.
Oh, looking for the Halt stick. They don't manage to make it work. Grab used on the high ground. They're looking for that elimination, but they just can't even take down Alarm. Carpe now finds Marvel. Prophet's dead. And that's just going to have to be yet another reset here for the side of the Seoul Dynasty.
Yeah.
It fits nearly with the EMP, but I mean, there's just further staggers coming in as Anamo and Tuyu both fall now. Nearly at this last corner before the B site, before the point B. As Fitz, he's spotted. This is so dangerous.
That's what I'm talking about, right? I mean, Tuyu drops in a grab, but he can't do anything with the grab himself. Fitz has got a late death here. So another 10 seconds off the clock for Seoul Dynasty just to wait for that respawn. Marvel's the only one that can actually play the grab, but that's not enough. You need more damage than that. Profit's got to be in there. A Bionef Creative has to be in there. Ideally, Fitz is doing something in there as well. They still have an EMP, but now Funny Astra has a rally to at least attempt to counter it some survivability. But Alarm just has to make sure he doesn't lose his out matrix to the EMP and they're good to go. Possible boop. Fails.
All together, Prophet dead again. No chance to use his duplicate. There's a nano out onto Marvel. Now they have to commit to the fight. Rally's rolling for Funny Astra to keep everybody topped up. Let's see, Shockwave moving forward. Flux comes in. Rally pop for Namo just to try to stay alive through this Flux. EMP is used by Fitz. He manages to catch 4, but there's just nobody there to capitalize. Everybody is still waiting to respawn. Why did they go for the fight right then? Why does he use the EMP? I don't have the answers. I'm too confused. But Carpe finds 2 with the Pulse Bomb, and it's looking like the Fusion are going to be able to hold this.
Looking as baffling as Spark's decisions in the earlier matchup in Fusion. They're all about it. You say, okay, make mistakes. Use an EMP when you shouldn't. And now you don't have ultimates. Nanos was already used as well. It's just going to come down to duplicate plus the Primal Rage from Marvel. Instantly popped, by the way.
Marvel already getting chunked out quite a bit. The Ant Matrix making it hard for him to try to play up there on that high ground. Drops back down, and Alarm finds a headshot to finish him off. Prophet going to be knocked out of the duplicate. They touch back over onto the card, keeping it contested as Carpe goes in deep. He's looking for the finish here onto Creative, and he will find it. Anamo gets that punish, but the cart is unoccupied. The OT bleeds away to you. Cannot drop down to contest it fast enough. That is the hold from the side of the Fusion. A very clearly defined win condition for them to punch their ticket into the playoffs.
This is the closest the Philadelphia Fusion have been since their very close 6-map series versus Shanghai Melee. Since then, failed to make any headway in June Joust or the Summer Showdown. Countdown Cup, they were stopped short by Seoul twice. Second of which was most important, that was the knockout game here versus old-time rival Seoul Dynasty. Not only a Fusion on match point, but they're in a winning situation where they successfully bled down the timer on A quite significantly, down to nothing really. B, bit of an unfortunate situation for Seoul because they're still on that Zari where it just, you have no value on B. No high ground control, no ability to take the high ground.
Yeah.
And Marvel can't do it for you because even if you bubble him, a single Winston jumping on there is not gonna be good enough. Seoul Dynasty failed to get any significant headway on B. And the time just isn't there because it takes them so long to even cap A. Time to make mistakes on B does not exist. Philadelphia Fusion now legitimately are on the precipice. So once again I say, if there is a time for the Fusion, keep that spaghetti on the plate, in the bowl. It is right now because playoffs are within grasp.
Absolutely are. Carpe moving forward to look at the TP around the back. Get Mono situated on the high ground, perhaps. An Alarm already finds Creative. Now just an Anomal for the solo healing, and good luck rejoining Creative. You got to get through this. Prophet falling low, will get top back up, but Anamo is dead. Marvel is dead. Shockwave going to be the only casualty thus far. The cart's starting to roll. It's Carpe. It sits there lobbing arrows at people. Won't find too much distance for now, but they've got a hell of a lot of purchase when it comes down to real estate on this map.
Absolutely. Look at this high ground control. This was something that was completely missing on Seoul's attack. They never have this high ground control. They never had a free push on this payload. The payload's been unimpeded. It's been rolling through the entire time. First minute, very successful. It's already in the archway. Fitz coming back over towards a Widowmaker. We'll see if this works. It is a favorable matchup versus Carpe and Shockwave. Superior range, but how do you get past 2 shields? That's the question.
Playing indoors right now. Barrier going to be set up on the one entrance. Hold them together. Fitz and Prophet together. Both taking a little bit of damage, but we'll be okay. Fitz now needs to try to get on some kind of flank angle, but I don't know if one good enough exists. But as I say that, he will find one. Shockwave's going to be eliminated, but yet again, Anamo going to be taken down. Carpe finds that. The Flux from 2U gets rid of Hot Buff. It's going to be the man advantage now for the side of the Dynasty, but is it enough to stop this cart? 4.7 meters left to go before point A comes in. They get that extra 2.5 minute bump up. Everybody just pulls back, plays safe indoors for now as they wait for the respawns to come in.
Off angle being played by Fitz here as well. Could be deadly, but it's going to be pushed off for the time being. Successful 2U Flux coming through before Hopper has anything to respond with. Now it will be Hopper's turn. Created with the window down. This is the opportunity for Seoul. They need to find frags. Got to find damage. Fusion so far respecting it. Not going to push in just yet. Waiting for ultimates.
It's waiting. Goes for the jump up top. Doesn't want to get situated on the door.
Here it comes.
Flux used. Cretion not going to connect. Manages to find two. Marvel gets himself safely out of the Flux, and everybody else survives for a little bit longer. Carpe will find one as Fitz goes down. Supercharger going to be eliminated. Prophet goes for the dupe. Manages to find the Brig. He's trying to build up. He's trying to get that rally, but it's just not going to happen. He gets it right at the very end. Instantly gets broken out and should get finished off. 4 minutes left to defend this. It just seems like almost an impossible task here for the side of the Dynasty. The doors open, the cart will start advancing yet again. The Philadelphia Fusion have to be licking their lips, the prospect of this playoffs appearance that is right before them.
I am ready to unleash
the entire season will forgive if they can win this right now. 3 ultimates online. It's looking pretty good. Fitz with his Hail Mary Widowmaker. And it's only been able to find realistically that one frag and not much more than that. Infrasight's going to give them information. You can see the high ground rotation. Hopper's on the high ground. Supercharger could be big here.
Mortality field already has to be used. Fitz manages to find one. Marvel going to be taken down as mono. Manages to find 2 kills. Carpe climbs up the wall. Manages to find Fitz. Domes him with the arrow. And the cart this whole time has been advancing forward. Gio has to drop down, but the kinetic grasp is not going to last. Nor will any other member from the side of the Dynasty. The Philadelphia Fusion will push it through. They manage to make it happen here on Dorado, on the Dynasty's final map pick. And with this victory, they will be making an appearance in the playoffs.
And look at that, the revelation of the faces, especially Funny Asher. I have been so used to seeing the player cams at the end, the disappointment in the faces, along with the tear in an eye. Hopper as well, I mean, it's emotional. It's taken so much effort the entire season to get to this point. And I feel it as well. It's been so difficult for the Philadelphia Fusion to get this far and fight against, I think, one of the most difficult teams for them specifically to face as well in the Seoul Dynasty, which has been not an easy journey because Seoul's also been good this season. They were ramping up big time for the incoming playoffs. And Philadelphia Fusion, like, they're playing some of the best Overwatch they played all year. I think Melee, they were peaking. 4-0 result. Sadly didn't make it into the actual tournament themselves, but like I said at the end there, all is forgiven to just make it to the playoffs because this is what really counts. They missed out on Hawaii 4 times, and now they're going to go to Hawaii, and it could be the final team from the Eastern Division, the final team from APAC, joining Shanghai and Chengdu Hunters to go into that top 8.
What a way to get it done. I mean, the rotations coming through from this lineup just absolutely phenomenal. I mean, Fusion fans certainly remember. I'm sure that their social media manager is also going to be remembering, you know, fly 12 hours just to lose. This time they flew 12 hours. They stayed 6 months to end the Dynasty season. Fantastically done here by the Philadelphia Fusion, and I can't sing them enough praises and congratulate them enough. This is an absolutely monstrous victory for them. Like I said, it might have been 5-3, the record coming into this, but I think that just tied it up. I think this was worth, you know, probably even more than 2, but we'll call it a 5-5 here between these two teams. Taking a look at our player of the match. I mean, yeah, he was here the whole way through. Very much load-bearing in this series. Carpe is going to be netting yet another victory for himself.
And what a beautiful way to end things as well versus old-time rival in Prophet. Prophet, who has won so much, had so many accolades, and Carpe with envious eyes thinking, it should be me, it must be me, and now it's got to be me. As Carpe and the Fusion go into playoffs and throughout the entire day. I said this from even the beginning of our first series versus the Hangzhou Spark, looking at Carpe's Tracer thinking, damn, this guy's been in the workshop. This is Carpe in the lab, working up something special here, because I did not think that Fusion had really very impressive Tracer players. Carpe impressed him, not just on that Tracer though, on multiple picks. Brilliant stuff. You're seeing the highlights here. I mean, I'll let the gameplay do most of the talking. Carpe had a phenomenal series.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we weren't sure what was going to happen with the Widowmaker swap. I mean, same could be said, I guess, for Fitz on Toronto, but then Carpe was able to end his career on that one at the very end. Just climbing up right in front of his face and just absolutely nailing him. Carpe, throughout this entire series, throughout this entire day, fairly instrumental in finding success for the side of the Philadelphia Fusion. So some things never change. This guy still continues to be one of the greatest of all time. Take a look at his Tracer stats here. It's one Pulse Bomb kill, but it's also only one Pulse Bomb attachment. But he gets 11 final blows, and he doubles that to see his eliminations at 22. So overall, a very fine performance from him. And I mean, he showed us multiple picks as well.
Yeah, so it's the reason why there's not a lot of Tracer stats here is because he played enough different heroes that over the course of the series, I mean, 4 maps as well, some of which were going pretty quickly. I mean, Dorado wasn't super long, was it? So, yeah, didn't see too much of Carpe on the specific hero. Got enough of it, though, that I was impressed. And honestly, this is just a huge moment for the Fusion. I'm legitimately happy for them from, you know, even someone like me that likes to tease them a little bit because they're a good team. And I've always believed that they're a good team, a good enough team that needs to live up to their reputation of being that top team that they're always meant to be. A team that's been runner-up in the, you know, entire finals of the Overwatch League season. A team that's been to multiple different finals of stages previously as well. This year was rough for them. Yeah, okay, we can talk about the fact that they flew 12 hours to stay for 6 months. It took them a long time to get their teammates over to this country, over to Korea. Finally assembling almost everybody in. You know, if you paid attention to socials there, Poco's still watching from France, cheering the team on. He's getting active in the socials. He said, let's go one more, and one more was exactly all it took, and Fusion finally starting to realize that potential that they've had for the entire year.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, do it for Poco. You know, the one guy who unfortunately hasn't been able to join in, but very much still going to be ecstatic and cheering from the sidelines. I mean, hard fought from both of these squads. It's just, unfortunately for the Dynasty, seemed like they just very much ran out of gas. I mean, that Numbani loss seems to have broken them just a bit.
Yeah, I think Numbani, especially when you revisit the time bank, we can talk about letting A go, but I think, you know, Philly are a good enough team that within 2 minutes they can definitely cap A, despite the problems they were having on the initial regulation phase of A. The B was the more egregious part for Seoul, and I think it hurts for Seoul because on that particular map, you could tell that they had the capability of pushing further. In terms of the fact that they almost got as far as Philly did on that C push, the real story is, in their minds, they shouldn't have allowed it to get past B. And had they held on to B, then they probably could have won that because they themselves pushed further than B. That's a lot of like would-haves and could-haves and a lot of hindsight there, and I'm sure there are other opportunities where they felt like they could have done better. I'm sure that Fusion felt like they could have done better on Hanamura, which was the one map that they also won. That they lost as well. The one map that Seoul picked up in this entire series. The real map that I think Seoul lacked on, aside from Dorado, is that opening on Busan. I was a bit shocked at the 215 scoreline. So back-to-back 100 to 7, then 100 to 8, or rather 8 first and then 7 afterwards. Point is, it was so one-sided that I had to kind of double-take that and think a second, like, whoa, what's going on here? Seoul are coming in very slow today. But they were slow enough that they didn't really ramp up to get to a position where they then could win Dorado and take us to a map 5.
Well, it certainly feels wild here to think about, you know, these playoffs, especially after last year with Dynasty's performance and appearance in the finals, to not have them as a part of the playoffs. But Philadelphia Fusion have made their dream a reality. Just wonderfully done throughout this whole way through. I mean, 3-1 in both of these series, looking scarier, I think, than they have throughout this entire season. And that's with making multiple swaps. You know, seeing Carpe sat in that first series for the first time in a very long time, and seeing the EQO Shockwave lineup. Weren't sure how that was going to go, but they ended up playing it absolutely perfectly. So, you know, big ups to the coaching staff there from the good old side of the Fusion. Seems like they finally have really worked out the kinks.
Yeah, I mean, it's taken a while, but this is so sweet. You can savor the sweetness now, as they're the final team remaining out of the play-ins and the Eastern Division here. Yeah. Seoul are bested. Seoul are not going to go to the playoffs. I'm sure that's going to be a disappointing end, I think, for Seoul fans as well. It's been a overall improved season as far as the regular season goes, but playoffs as well. It's a bit of a sad point going from grand finals the previous year to this now, where unfortunately they're not going to go to the playoffs at all. But them's a break sometimes. There was only room for one more team, and that one more team ended up being the Fusion. But Seth, that also marks the end of the APAC broadcast for 2021. This was the final one, ladies and gentlemen out there, as all future matches after this will be obviously there's one more play-ins broadcast for North America, and then we will be moving over towards all Hawaii playoffs games taken over on that side. So it's been a great run. It's been a fantastic journey. Thank you for allowing me to be your partner, and thank you for a great season.
No problem, man. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you alongside me this whole way through. Granted, I had to fill in a couple times for other people, but my heart was always with you in this duo. It's been a wonderful first season. I think. I hope that people enjoyed our commentary throughout this run of it. I think we were able to get things off the ground pretty quickly, and I'm very happy with the end result of it all. But unfortunately, that is the end of the line for us. So for now, we'll be joining you guys in the spectator seats, watching the action unfold in the rest of the play-ins, in the playoffs, to see who is going to be crowned the champion here at the end of the season. But something tells me that this isn't goodbye forever. It's just temporary.
Yeah.
We'll see you guys hopefully again in 2022 with the next season. But until then, thank you so much for tuning into the APAC broadcast the whole way through. You guys are the realest fans there are out there. We love all of you. We'll see you next time.
Overwatch 2, baby!
Woo!